All right, we are here with episode 12 of the Automana podcast. Unfortunately, you might be hearing some tech issues. The Real Shiesty and I have been trying to work through them, but the Real Shiesty is having some audio issues. So hopefully it isn't too bad, but we tried our best. He's mouthing it out
No,
right now for people that don't have video feed on.
okay, yeah, so I put it in my description. I apologize in advance for the audio issues that may be presiding. I feel like, according to Josh, I sound okay now, but it just might not be to the um, enhanced caliber quality that I would have with my Blue Yeti, which is the one that is giving me issues. We're hoping it's just a cord issue, but I won't know until I go out and buy one. So thank you for dealing with our crap, or my crap.
Yeah, it's funny. I was about to close something and almost screwed everything up myself. But
Oh my God.
besides this, tech issue that we were having, um, have you? I know earlier you and I talked about it, but did you get a chance to play Scarlet today?
I did. Are we just going straight into topic one, or
No,
are we
I was just seeing if you picked up Scarlet because I know
Yes.
with games I've been playing like Shield. I want to beat it before today, but unfortunately I'm only like a couple hours left, so I think later tonight I might actually finish Shield and then go back into Violet.
Okay. Okay. Um, yes, I did pick it up today. And without spoiling too much, and we will dive right into it. But yes, I did start playing it.
Okay. So besides Violet this week that you're looking forward to, I know you're playing World of Warcraft and you're doing some things. Are you just getting ready for the pre-patch of Dragonflight? Or are you what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm still getting ready for that. I'm not really getting ready for the expansion itself, but I'm kind of like closing the door on the current expansion and trying to finish the time-sensitive things currently, I guess is one way of putting it. It's not that I would be missing out on what I still need to do. It's just if I don't do it in time, I'll have to work twice as hard next season
Mm.
to reap the rewards that I could get right now. So I'm trying really hard. I think I'm gonna, especially when I got a couple more hardcore days left in me. So yeah, I think I'll be all right. Hopefully, hopefully.
So this week you're going to be focusing more on World of Warcraft, just getting that done. Are you still going for that PvP mount, or are you just done with
Yes,
that?
that's really where my time sensitive thing I was just talking about lies. Because with Pokemon Hunt, I really want to binge it, but I also want to get this WoW stuff knocked out. So we'll see. I think I'll have a pretty good equilibrium, and still have a really good time with Pokemon, and then be ready for Dragonflight. So, and I
Okay.
still haven't Sonic Frontiers, and I'm just like
You didn't play Sonic Frontiers yet?
I still haven't played it yet. Yes, no, I will. You know what? I will do that too. I might not binge it to beat it, but I definitely want to put it in and just enjoy it for a few hours because I did buy it. Now I want to do a Kirby too.
You can still
Like
do it with Kirby.
I think Kirby should have sailed.
No, you can still play Kirby.
He's on his star. He's gone away. I just don't know when I would ever fit it though. It's just
Well,
like
whenever you want it, you can always take it back because I did play Kirby and
Kirby's
it's
like,
good.
yeah, is it really good though? Did you
It
finish it?
I did not finish yet. I actually want to do another playthrough on stream. I've only gotten halfway through the game because it was just something I played when I was bored. But it's funny because it's almost like with Kirby. It's like I don't want to spoil too much. Do you care if I say anything?
Ah,
Because it's more just gameplay aspects, not story
okay,
aspects.
just go.
Okay.
Because I don't know. Just go.
So the good thing about this Kirby that you let me use is that it's like keeps the traditional like 2D, but
Okay.
when it switches to top down, you can actually move like how do you describe it? It feels like you're playing your classic 2D Kirby, but because you can it is more 3D, you can travel between everything else, but it feels with that I'm trying to figure out how to describe it. It feels like a classic Kirby game, but obviously with that Mario Odyssey feel, if that
Okay.
makes sense.
Okay.
And
I think I'm following you.
yeah,
I think I'm following
I'm
you.
trying to explain because I'm horrible at explaining this because what I like about it is that even
So
though they give you
like
that
ability wise, you're saying it plays like a traditional Kirby, but with a Mario Odyssey type of exploration.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, okay.
And I
And
thought
that's
that was
cool.
I thought that was really cool. Especially, I think I'm not sure if you can play with other people, but I know you get like some little companions that travel with you,
I believe you could two-player that
and
campaign it too.
the companion you have with you is kind of useful.
Oh, okay.
So
Isn't
it's
it
fun.
what is it called? I forgot what those little guys are called. Starts with a D, doesn't it?
Oh,
Like
I
a
can't
like a
remember.
like a doo-doo or something?
I can't remember his name, but yeah, it's just cool how they switch from like 2D side scroller to top down 3D and then full 3D. I just like how it changes the gameplay and how you interact with the levels. So I thought it was good, and I definitely recommend you playing it at some point whenever you want it. Like I said, you can always
Yes.
get it back.
Yes. Hopefully, we'll see at some point. But on the horizon, like I still got Octopath 2 on the way.
Oh
My
yeah, that's right.
Octopath on the phone has even dropped a rung or two. I had to do a little catch-up play the other day, actually, on Wednesday. Um, and yeah, so
Did
like
you finish Triangle
still,
Strategy?
still didn't finish that, but I did progress a little bit more. Well, so here's the thing about triangle strategy. When I went back to try to pick it back up and progress,
Mm-hmm.
um, my Joy Cons have horrible, horrible drift to the point at which like when you're it's a strategy game, right? So it's a lot of options, kind of like your traditional RPGs and whatever. So like with the drift, like I'll be like down, down, down. I'm about to hit A, it's up, and then it does something I didn't want it to do. I'm like, so I get like really, really upset. But now, actually, for Scarlet, I actually just picked up a new pair of Joy Cons, and so races that away.
So what made you
So
pick up the Joy Cons instead of a Pro controller or a Power A controller?
because you still need the Joy Cons when you're in handheld mode,
Oh yeah, that's right.
because
See,
the drift is still going to happen on handheld mode. So
you're right. I don't play my Switch in handheld mode because I actually don't like it that way. So I totally forgot that you actually need the Joy Cons for
so
that.
if you actually play more docked, then you probably don't have a drift issue because you use them less. No.
Well, the left Joy-Con I have because I use it for Mario Party whenever I do play it. It does have a drift issue, but you're right. Just because I don't have it played as much, I don't have it as bad as you, but I still have a drift issue.
Yeah, no, mine's is they're pretty much almost non-functional, like almost, like it's bad. It's bad. So I got a new pair, which I'm very excited about. I actually sent you a picture of it. You'll probably enjoy it.
Are they
They're
colored ones or
kind
just normal black ones?
they're colored-ish. I'll send you that picture, and then you could, if you choose to, you could describe it on the pod. Actually, now that I think about it, it's actually my third set. My second set is actually a Zelda Skyward Sword special edition ones, but I don't want to use them. So
Oh, that's pretty cool. It's a peak. Well, is it just a decal or is it an actual Joy-Con?
no, those are actual Joy-Cons. They're not skins.
Oh, that's actually really cool because like like the N64 like see-through controller with like little
Hmm.
Pikachu and Thunderbolts on it. That's actually really cool.
Yeah. So
What? How much is that? Like 30 or $60?
I maybe 60. I can't remember, but it wasn't like gouged or anything. They were regular price ish. Um, so yeah, I saw them on Amazon and said, screw it, I'm buying these.
That's actually really cool. Because I know when I was out at GameStop yesterday for the midnight
Mhm.
release of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, um, I seen that they had the Pokemon Scarlet Switch with like the Joy Cons and the dock being that way, and it made me appreciate as much as it sounds silly, and they're still overpriced. With the Switch and the PlayStation, because you can change the faceplates out and the Joy Cons, you don't necessarily have to buy a new console every single time. You just have to buy the Joy Cons or the dock or the faceplates to make it look like a new system.
You're saying that with the PS5, right?
Yes, the PS5 and the
Yeah.
Switch.
Yeah, gotcha. And doesn't the Xbox have the same feature or no?
No, it does not. That's the one negative about Xbox is that if there is a special edition, you have to buy a new console to get that special edition.
Yeah,
While PlayStation and Nintendo had the smart idea of making interchangeable, so instead of paying $500 for a special edition, it's $60 for just a faceplate.
gotcha. Yeah,
So
I've never like
that's the
I
positive I'll
mean,
give them.
yeah, I've never Never really cared for skins. I don't think I've ever done that on any of my consoles or
Well, they're
controllers
not
or anything.
skins. I
No,
mean,
no, no.
I guess you could call them skins.
Well, the hard skins are different, right? Because it's kind of like you're changing the hard casing, right? Because they have those options now, right? Correct me if I'm wrong,
Well,
but
you could put a skin on it, but you know, with the PlayStation 5, you have the console, but then it has like the clear or the white faceplates on it.
yes,
Those faceplates just come off, and then
exactly. And you can put new ones on.
yeah,
So it's not. It's like when I think of skins, I think of like stickers. I mean, this is
yeah.
kind of what they are. But the plates are different. Like you genuinely are kind of changing the casing. It's almost like a your PC box. You know,
Mm.
you're changing it.
Yeah, I think
So
that's cool. Like same thing with the Switch. Like the Switch is so customizable with the Joy Cons. Like you take that out, looks like a new system. You switch the
mhm,
dock, it's a new system, and you don't have to pay that $200-300 just for that extra console.
exactly.
So
I think that's a cool. It is a cool feature because I'm surprised a lot more games aren't doing more of that type of stuff for like
I wish
collector's
Xbox did that.
editions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Like God of War
um,
did that with their controller and their faceplates, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I'm surprised they
so
haven't done
how
a Spider-Man one yet.
so how does the controller one then work?
So the controller is a new controller. They don't actually change the faceplates though. It's just a new controller.
Oh, well, that's cool then. You get a whole new controller.
But because they did a controller, they also did faceplates at the same time, so you can have like a matching set for the controller and the console.
That's cool. I think that's a good model. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, for the PS4, I bought, I have the Batman Collector's Edition. So
Yeah.
my buddy has the FF15 Collector's Edition. I'm kind of really surprised they didn't do one for 7, but um, neither here or there.
I think the
But
reason why they didn't do it for 7 is because it was so late in the console's life, they knew the PS5 was around the corner.
that's probably true. Probably true.
The
But it's a good
one,
thing
go ahead.
they allowed the free download to 5. Well, I mean, a lot of games followed suit with that. So Nintendo wouldn't have done that.
No, they definitely would not. But it seems like the third-party games seem to be like giving you free upgrades, while first-party games aren't that way, which is unfortunate. Um, but has there been any special edition console that you really wanted? Because I know one of them for me was was it the 20th anniversary for the PS4 or like the millionth version where it's like see-through blue?
So yes, there's one I would have liked a lot, and that was the PSP for Crisis Core. I think that one was pretty
Oh,
fucking cool.
yes.
Um, but the one I would give a trophy to, I wouldn't want it for myself. I just thought it looked really badass. Was it the PS5 that did it or the 4? But the Spider-Man one, the Amazing Spider, or was it
The
Amazing
red
Spider?
one?
The red one. That
Yes.
one looked fucking
That's
badass.
also the
Like
rarest PlayStation.
that gets the trophy. Like no shadow of a doubt. Um, but yeah, the one I would like to own would have been that PSP Crisis Core
The
for
funny thing
sure.
is, I think I might have had that. I had two PSPs because it was a PSP 2000 and 3000, right? That's what they were called, like the different models.
Yeah, I think that model. Yeah, but I think was it even the 2K? Like I want to say it was kind of early in the game because it was like before Vita days and all that stuff. But yes, there were obviously different generations. But
Because I know I had two different versions. Because at the time I had an aunt that worked at Circuit City before I closed it down,
mm,
and she was able to give me two bundles: the the Dexter bundle for PSP and the Crisis Core one, and I have that. What? Unfortunately, at the time, I was little and I left my PSP on the ground because I was just dumb, and my dog peed on it and broke it.
the Jackson one that wasn't a special like PSP casing. It was just like came with the games, right?
So
Or
the Dexter one was special. It wasn't like
oh,
really special because like the PSP was white and it had Dexter in the back,
okay,
like
I
a
didn't have
like
that.
an engraved Dexter on the back, and then it
'Cause I
came with
don't know
just a
why.
standalone game.
I want to say when I purchased mine, it came with that game, but it wasn't like a special edition console at least.
Yeah, it wasn't that
So
noticeable because it was just a white PSP with just Dexter in the back, like a small Dexter, like on the right or left hand side, and that's all
yeah,
it was.
like currently I also own uh, uh, 3DS, I believe it is a 3DS. That's the Pikachu edition. So I still have that, which is pretty cool, full case and everything. I mean, yeah, I use it to play, but I kept everything intact.
Dude, if I was like super rich and I could just blow money on anything, like the 3DS editions were super cool. Like they had the Pikachu, they had the Eevee, they had Sun and Moon, which was really cool. They had a Galaxy edition, the Zelda edition. Then they also had the original,
Zelda one was nice, yes.
yeah. Then they also had like the original 3DS, or was it 3DS? It looked different than the new 3DS, and they had some cool ones too, like Yoshi and all that stuff.
I'm sure they had a bunch. Nintendo with their handhelds tended to do that a lot. I don't remember Yoshi one. That one sounds intriguing.
Yeah, that was the first edition 3DS. That's when they had like the interchangeable faceplates on the 3DS.
Oh, okay, okay. I think I do slightly recall that now. But once again, I wasn't a big fan of the face placed ones. Um, but yeah, I do remember Zelda one. It was the black with the gold trim, right? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, and it had the tri
Yeah. I think my
whatever thing.
buddy, I think my buddy still has that one actually. I don't know. I'm pretty sure he probably has the whole box and everything too.
Yeah, it's funny because like I seen recently because there's a retro game store I went to that had the Galaxy 3DS on there for like $200, and I'm like, oh, it looks so cool, but I don't need it.
And where do you stand? Here's another classic one. Where do you stand on the Nintendo 64 Pikachu edition?
Man, that's okay. So at the retro store that I go to back in the game, they actually have a Pikachu one that's been sitting there for 7 months, and it's like
What are they asking for?
$400.
I'm surprised it hasn't sold for that price, to be honest.
I'm surprised it has it either. I don't, I like it because Pikachu, but compared to the other ones, it's ugly. And I know
Oh, 100%.
that's gonna sound weird because like as much as it looks cool and I do like Pikachu, I like the purple or green see-through Nintendo 64 better.
Yeah, I always just had the regular, like, stealth gray version.
Mm.
But that Pikachu console one, like, I could have gotten it, but at that time, as silly as this may sound, because I would probably love to have it now, but, in almost immaculate condition. But at the time, I just was more, like, reserved with my fandom. So I didn't want to get it. But yeah, so it is what it is.
I could tell you this: if they had a Donkey Kong 64, Nintendo
Ooh.
64, I would have bought that immediately because Donkey Kong 64 is my favorite Nintendo 64 game. I know people will say GoldenEye. I didn't care about GoldenEye. I was more about Donkey Kong 64, and that's it.
Donkey Kong 64 was a phenomenal game. I wouldn't say it was my favorite because that probably goes to like Ocarina, but yes, Donkey Kong 64 was amazing.
Because they had the
Very good.
Donkey Kong rap, they had all the different Kongs in there.
And you could play the arcade in the game. Like,
Hmm.
do you know about that?
I I
You
think
could
you could.
unlock it.
That's after you did the King Croc thing, right? Or was it in the
I don't,
treehouse with the scientist guy?
no, it wasn't a tree house. I can't remember vividly, but there was a way to unlock it. Like the 64 games had like cool things back in the day. Like even I don't know if you played the original Animal Crossing.
I did not.
Okay, so the original Animal Crossing, you were able to get NES consoles to
Hmm.
put in your house that you could actually play old school NES games in Animal Crossing,
Oh, that's
like
pretty cool.
Mario, like Zelda, Pinball. I can't remember the catalog, but like that was like the most amazing thing ever. Like they should have did that with the newer Animal Crossing, but either here or there. But yeah, amazing. Yeah, 64 has some great.
Eh,
Um,
so what games did you play? Because I know when I was playing 64, because I was actually really young. I think it came out like 2000, 2001, so I was like 5 or 6. And I had a couple games. I had Pokemon Stadium, Pokemon Snap. I had Donkey Kong 64. I had something called um, Midway Driving California or California Speed. That's what it was called. And then something with like army guys and a helicopter, and they were shooting big bugs and stuff.
did you mean Cruising the USA?
No, it's called California Speed.
Oh, okay, okay, because I think they also had Cruising the USA and then Cruising the World. But um, I mean, shit, I played a bunch. Um, Started off with Mario 64, which 100% of that at the time. Ocarina, Donkey Kong, GoldenEye, um, man, I mean, Turok.
Oh,
Turok was
Turok was good.
hard. Turok was
Yeah,
hard.
but it was good though.
Uh, I think Killer Instinct even had a 64 version, but that wasn't that great. Um, what else was? I mean, Majora's Mask, another Zelda game. Uh, Star Fox 64 was very good. I think arguably you could say it was the last great Star Fox. Some people. Metroid, right? Metroid. Did Prime was on there? Or was Prime only GameCube? Fuck, I can't remember
I
now.
think Prime was GameCube or Wii.
Okay, so maybe Metroid didn't have one. What else? Yeah, I can't think anymore, but there were a lot of games that I played on it. Banjo Kazooie. How
Oh
can I forget
yeah.
Banjo Kazooie? Um,
Did
Shit,
you play?
man.
Did you play? What's his name? Conkers.
I did not. I did not. I skipped Conkers, unfortunately.
See, during that time, it was like a weird 3D uh platformer era because like I played Banjo Kazooie, but it wasn't until a lot later because I think that's when the GameCube came out. I played Banjo Kazooie, but I remember like playing Croc, Conker, and what was his name? It was like a fox guy. He was like a some kind of ancient fox. I can't remember what his name is. And also there's a guy that was a lizard, Gek, whatever.
Yeah, there was a. Yeah, I remember that lizard guy you're talking about. It kind of looked like the Geico commercial lizard, but with sunglasses on.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, I guess it was probably just called Gecko. I don't remember, but I do recall what you're talking about for sure. Yeah, I don't know why I'm brain farting right now. Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2. Come on, let's go, people. Let's go. Pokemon Snap. Like, I mean,
I
they're
already
coming to
said
me, but
those.
did you?
Yeah,
Fuck you. But yeah, I mean, it had so many great games. I mean, and Mario Party. Mario Party started on there. Smash Brothers. Come on, let's go. So there was a bunch, man. There was a bunch.
I'm actually happy that Mario Party 1, 2, and was it 3 as well that are on
I
the
believe
Switch.
they. Oh, yes, yes. I think you could get them all on the Switch. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one like the one thing that I really do appreciate about like Nintendo is that with all these classic games that a lot of people love from like the N64, SNES, NES, that they're making digital consoles for the Switch so you can play those games as emulations.
Like there's certain games that I want to replay, but call me old fashioned. I'm totally fine with that. I just I the idea of saving my file on a cloud just doesn't stick well with me.
I like it as a
Um,
backup save.
Backup saves are fine. I'm 100% with you. Totally down for that. It's just like the only way I would get on board with this. I kind of said this in previous podcasts. If Nintendo gives us something like a Steam where I know that if I purchase this game and I invest time back into this file, whenever your next generation console comes out, I'm still going to have that data. I'm still going to have that game. Then I will be fully bought in. Till
Don't
that
they have
happens,
that with the cloud?
I don't know. No, well,
Well, I know
okay,
PlayStation,
okay,
Xbox too, but I thought Breath of the Wild, if you did from Wii U to Switch, they continue to save, or at least I thought
that
one of them did.
that's different. No, no, you're right. No, that's fine. That's different though. What I'm talking about are like those online games. So we don't really. Past performance suggests that it won't happen because they kind of moved over from the Wii U to now, and it didn't happen. So I guess truly we won't know until the next system comes out. But it remains to be seen.
Okay. So before I move on from like the N64, did you play a game called Zero Dark 30 or Zero Dark
Perfect Dark?
or Perfect Dark? I might be
Per-
thinking
per-
about it. I for some reason I got
Perfect.
the movie name mixed up.
I did not own it, but my friend did. So yes, we played a lot of Perfect Dark as well because that was kind of like the GoldenEye 2 per se for a lot of people back in the day. So yeah, yeah.
Perfect Dark I just remember that now, and I remembered that when I got it, I couldn't play it because you need the expansion pack.
Mm, yeah.
And I had to spend like
And
$40 or well, I didn't spend it, my mom did. $40 to get the expansion pack or whatever how much it was back then so I could play that game.
and do you remember which game came with the expansion pack?
I do not.
I think when you're talking about the little red thing that goes in front of the system, right? Is that the expansion pack?
Yeah.
Or what are you talking about? Yeah, right. Oh, I believe it was Donkey Kong. I
Was
think
it Donkey
Kong
Kong?
came- I think it was. I think it was. Someone got fact checked me on that one, but I thought it was.
I mean, that'd be cool if it did because I didn't know that. I always had the yellow cartridge for Donkey Kong.
Do you know which game came with the Rumble Pack?
The ROM pack that you put in your controller, was it Smash Bros? No.
Nope. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock.
I don't know. I had the Rumble pack. I'm gonna say it was some kind of like fighting game, maybe Knockout.
Although you know, someone got fact checked me. No, but I'm pretty confident it was Star Fox.
Oh, was it Star Fox?
I'm pretty confident it was Star Fox 16.
I know you're probably gonna get upset, but I didn't play Star Fox until it came out on Wii or Switch, whatever the retro one was.
So when you finally did, though,
it sucked. I hated it.
But
that's only because the controls were like obviously at the time it probably was great, but because I played the emulated version, the controls didn't match what I was playing it on, and the flights were so clunky, and that's probably the reason why I hated it.
But that clunkiness, I mean, at the time, nobody batted an eye, right? Like, it was best thing in the well, I shouldn't say best thing in the world, but you know, it was with the times. But that clunkiness is also what makes it such a difficult game.
Yeah.
So you know, gotta think about those things if
there's no denying. Like when I played it, I was crashing. Like it was just a playing field. There was like little triangle silhouette things or like tree looking things, and I would go left, right, up, down, and then I would always crash into something even if I wasn't even touching it. I was like, oh my god, it made me so angry.
Extremely polygon.
Yeah.
Extremely, but those are the classics.
But I guess we can move on to the first one because it's funny. Sure. I've been trying to not talk about it, but I can't wait. So yesterday, you know, or I guess today is the official release, but yesterday, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet came out for other people in the world and also from people in midnight release. I was there. I was excited to participate in the midnight release because it was my first one in over 3 years, so that made me excited. There's a lot of people there. At the GameStop I went to, there's over 200 people, which I was shocked. I honestly wasn't expecting that many. I was maybe
count over 200 people.
I know that there was over 150 because on the receipt they give you a number, and when I walked into the line, I was behind 131, and then more people came after that.
But that is probably for the day, not that timestamp.
No. So they give you a yellow ticket to tell you your place in line. Like I was number 5. Because I went super early in the day to get my placing. And when I walked into the line, the guy I was behind was 131 or 130. I forgot what. He was in the 130s. And then I moved up.
You should have took pictures.
Well, I did when I left, and there's still like maybe 50 people in line still. But when I went there, it was like 10 minutes before it opened. So when I went there, it was 131, then I immediately jumped to number 5 in line. And then when I was in number 5, I see more people come. And it looked like another 50, 60 people, so that's what I'm saying, 200. But besides that point, it was just cool to see that many people in line, because I really thought there was only going to be like maybe 10 people.
No, I think it's really cool, and I think it's also really impressive. The last midnight release I was a part of, not trying to go really off track here, but just really quick, I think it was Smash Brothers. And there were a lot of people. I wouldn't say there was 200, though, but there was a lot of people. But anyways. Scarlet Violet, let's go. Let's talk.
It was funny. Well, before we do that, I know we're talking about midnight releases, but with the midnight release, the biggest one I've ever been to was probably Black Ops 1. And it was GameStop, another GameStop compared to the one I just went to. And people were lined up all around the building. Like, people were dressed up in ghillie suits and all that stuff, and there's probably over 400 people there. But that was crazy. Really big release.
Yeah, no, I never seen anything like that for sure.
But going into Pokemon, like you were saying, yes. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet came out. I played at least 2 hours of it. Okay. How many hours did you play?
-1. No, I haven't hit an hour mark. I think I put about exactly 37 minutes in.
You timed yourself. 37 minutes and 2
Well,
seconds.
it's all right. I got home. I'm like, all right, what time are we doing the podcast? All right, how much time we got to squeeze in? And then beforehand, I had to do an update, so I started opening Pokemon cards, get myself in the mood. But no, yeah, I was like, no, I got to play a little bit before we do the podcast, at least a little bit. Let me get 30 minutes. So yeah, so I did just that. Very quickly, I guess. We could dissect this all day, of course. But I picked Fuecoco, my boy Fuecoco. Mom still looks hot.
Yes,
Neighbor looks
she
hot.
does. Oh, are you talking about the neighbor girl or?
Yeah.
Dude, I
How
thought
do
she
you name
was
the
like an
mom?
adult, man. Like she's so much
Well,
taller than we are, but she says she's the same
okay.
age.
I don't know what the age is, but I think this game they definitely look more like I guess high schoolish, right? Or maybe junior high.
I look like an.
I haven't got to school yet, so I haven't seen the other classmates. But to your point, the neighbor is about half a head taller. So, but girls mature as faster than boys, so they could be the same age.
Yeah, I'd look like third grade and she looks like she's in the college. That's all I'm saying. Like she's developed. That's all.
Oh damn! I wasn't checking her out that much, but like, damn.
No, she's tall. She's got all the attributes of someone that does not match a 10-year-old's description. That's all I'm
There you
saying.
go. Makes sense. Is that what they're supposed to be? Are they supposed to be 10 years old? Because like they, at
Well,
least graphically, they look older than 10.
I think that's the age they always try to go for is like that, like 10,
They,
12-year-old because that's what Ash is.
yeah, they do always, I guess aim them younger, but like, I don't know. I don't know if that's really the exact age that they're supposed to be, but I would still love for them just to be like, yeah, just throw a grown ass adult in there at the start of the game. He still lives with his mom, 30 years old. Like, come on, let's do it already.
I would love to see that.
He's gonna go to school with 10-year-olds. Just do it. Make it
Or
happen.
or at least like like understudy. Like I'm not sure how far you got, but there's a
No.
character that makes sense. How I'd like to see is like I would love to be like let's say for example I would love to be like Professor Oak's understudy and go out into the world and explore myself as like a middle or like a 20-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, there's different options. Of course, that would require a lot from them to kind of like tweak the story mode, so to speak. But anyways, so back to the experience thus far. They need to also get rid of starting the game walking, like RP walking. Like that shit is.
I got so nervous because I was like, "Can you run?" And you had to get past a certain point to run.
I mean, it's historically it's always been that way. I get it, but for this game,
It was
it
slow.
was bad.
Yes,
It
and it
was
happens a
really
lot.
bad. Oh, it does it? It happens more later? Oh, fuck. Why did I? Damn it. Anyway, okay. So it's bad, but I kind of understand it in a sense because even in Sword and Shield, or maybe not Sword and Shield, because it's definitely more open environment, right? So even the houses, right? Because I think in previous games, maybe with the exception of Sword and Shield, they still had somewhat of a loading, right? Like in between rooms and whatnot. And you could see like the different graphical engine that they used, right? So like even the Pokemon, like they almost I don't want to say like Yarn Yoshis, but they have a different texture to them. They have texture to them, which is freaking nice and cool.
But it's
So
also a
there's
nightmare. We'll
that's
go
kind
into
of
it.
no, and that's kind of what I guess I'm getting to is like I think because of all those elements, it's causing those issues, right? Um, but I don't know all the intricacies of all that stuff. I'm just going out on a limb and saying that. Um, so with that said, uh, I've caught like 5 Pokemon already. I want to say. Um, Legends of Arceus kind of spoiled me a little bit. It's maybe I know I still need to get used to this game. I know that, but like it already feels slower. Um, maybe there's still things that I need to unlock. I don't know, and maybe I don't dare I say I don't want you to spoil too much. Although we got to talk about this, and you want to talk about it, I want to talk about it. But Legends of Arceus, I think, really did spoil a lot for me. I still feel like it's moving in the right direction. Um, So it's hard to give it a full review at this point. But I just can't wait to just fucking binge it, man. The
So
Pokedex is interesting.
yes, it is. It feels well. It kind of seems like they're doing the Legends of Arceus thing because it almost acts like a bookshelf. Like
Well, yeah, no, it is a bookshelf, but like once again, barely started, so I need to see how the books evolve, so to speak, because they
that,
kind of like hinted at that already.
that's what I was wondering if it was like Legends of Arceus. We had to catch multiple like different species or multiple of the same species to further the Dex entry.
I'm wondering that, but I kind of hope not. And the reason
I
why
hope not too because it's annoying.
well, not only that, it was okay. It was annoying for Arceus, but like it also made sense because of how fast paced it was compared to this one. This one is so much slower. Like you can't go running around chucking Pokeballs. Like I said, unless it becomes something available later that I'm not aware of, it doesn't look like it. So I mean, yeah, we'll see.
So I'm 2 hours in, and I haven't hit the school yet.
Oh,
But I've
damn.
also explored a lot too.
I was about to say how much are you? Okay, yeah.
So, so this is a really expansive game for the Switch, and that might be a really big issue for the Switch because I've noticed some issues of me like being in certain areas battling Pokemon, and my camera angle clips to the ground.
Okay.
Also, do not go near cliffs at all because if you go to certain cliffs, you will actually get stuck in a up and down situation where you're trying to get back on, but you're just basically hovering in midair, and you're like, "Am I stuck?" And then you have to do some weird finagling to get yourself out of it, and you're just on the ledge. You're not falling down. You're not nothing. You're just on the ledge, and
Mm-hmm.
you can't seem to walk backwards because you're stuck.
Hmm. Interesting. I know, similar to Arceus, you can't like walk up a cliff or edge because you just slow back down.
Yeah, if
Um,
there's like certain angles, obviously there's certain ones you can walk up depending on like the height and the angle it's on. But it's
mhm.
just like angles in general are just really glitchy and finicky because depending on how big it is or how small it is, you will just get stuck. And I've
So,
seen Twitter clips where people actually fall through the map.
oh damn, that must be fun. Um, to the hovering issue though, I've already experienced it with catching Pokemon, which I thought was very interesting. Like any flying Pokemon, when you after it's caught, the Pokeball's not on the floor; it's just hovering in the air. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know
I
if
think they
you've
meant to
seen
do
or
that.
noticed that.
Yeah,
Oh, you think they meant to do that?
yeah.
It's a little weird.
Because like I was catching a Psyduck and it ended up on the bridge somehow. Because I was underneath the bridge, but somehow it went above the bridge, and the Pokeball was just dangling on the railing of the bridge.
Hmm.
And I'm like, that's kind of cool. That's up there. Or if it's like like a bird Pokemon, like a whatever that pink little guy that swirls in the air.
Oh, hopping. Yeah.
Yeah, Hoppy. He, the ball was just in the air floating for him. And I thought that
Yeah.
was kind of cool. It catches them where they are. Because
I thought it looked weird.
in the cartoon, it does the same thing. Like,
Oh,
if
does it?
yeah, because when you catch it, the ball wiggles or it drops to the floor, and then it flies back into your hand.
You're right. It does do that. Okay.
But
Okay.
one of the things I don't like is as much as it's cool seeing the Pokemon in the wild and see clusters of them running around, because of how many there are, there's certain Pokemon that are so tiny they're hard to see.
Yes. Like with the grass is so much taller than them. And have you? I don't know if you really knew this, but if you hit the right analog stick in, you could go out further. So you don't have to be. I just found out like right as I stopped playing because I was like, man, like this camera's too close. I'm to your point, having a hard time seeing some of the Pokemon. But then I zoomed out. I was like, oh, this feels so much more better. So I don't know if you
Well,
knew that.
when you get a little further on, because obviously you still got some stuff to do. I'm not sure if you got past the base town, going towards like the ravine.
Nope.
Okay.
I still haven't. I was on my way to the tower, and then Pokemon had to cry like a little bitch, and then
Oh,
I get a detour.
yeah.
So that's all.
Okay. So did you go in the cave yet though? Because you did see the
No,
legendary
no,
Pokemon, right?
no, no.
Okay.
I mean,
That
they showed a legendary Pokemon like in the opening package,
okay.
but no.
Well, when you get there, there's this part after that where you more in an open field like you were earlier, but more open. And
Mhm.
there's these collectibles. I'm not sure if they're the true collectible, but they're called gimme ghouls,
Mm.
and they're spread out
Oh,
throughout the whole world. Because I thought they were Pokemon you can catch. You can't catch them. You have to interact with them.
Is it the little gray guy with the coin?
Yeah,
That is a Pokemon.
you,
Well,
you can't catch them.
it's a Pokemon. Okay, and okay, so I guess you probably don't know this, but in this game, you are able to catch it, but it's going to be part of the treasure chest. So they're going to be like almost like mimics.
Oh, dude, they are annoying because they're they're super microscopic and they're spread out all over the place. And I've gotten tons of coins already because of looking around, but they are tiny, man. Like you really have to look for them. Like they're not like the unknowns where they're blending in the side and you can actually see them because they're big. These are tiny that will hide for you.
Yeah, and then they're also going to be exclusively available and catchable in that form, but in Pokemon Go.
Okay.
They're gonna be like the new Melton.
So you can only catch them in Pokemon Go and then bring them there. So what are the coins for? Because I have quite a bit of coins now.
That I don't know, but it probably is some sort of uh, not Easter egg, but just another method of to your point, collecting and probably getting wares or whatnot. I can't answer that, but from my understanding, what I read, because they had them in Pokemon Go for like an event that I apparently both probably missed.
Yeah, I didn't know he was in there.
And so you're gonna be able to catch them in that form. I guess Game and Gold's his name in Go, and you could then transfer it to Sword and Shield in that form.
Okay, so will that just act as a collectible now in the game? Because like I said, there's tons of them just spread out. And all they give you is a coin. So is that coin obsolete? Because obviously, well, I don't know why I'm asking you because we're both figuring it out. But
yeah,
so far it's just like they seem like an obsolete, pointless collectible grind. Because like the unknowns, at least you caught. There's different variations. You're collecting the alphabet. This one just seems like it's just a coin thing.
Let me ask you this: have you gotten the same goal at the same location twice?
No.
Okay, so my gut is telling me that there's going to be a vendor at some point that's going to teach you about the little coins that they have and then offer you wares to exchange them. This is my guess.
Well, that's what I was saying too. Like there was gonna be something, but when you told me you can't catch them in game, that makes me annoyed because I thought these coins would let you at least buy one in the game. But I guess we'll see because it's still early on.
Ooh, you know where I could see how it might work out is similar to how Spiritomb works. Where you have to catch the souls, like whatever it is, 60, we'll say 69 souls just to be dirty, and then you get the opportunity to get one Spiritomb. I could see it working like that, where you have to get, I don't know, 100 coins. I don't know how many you have now, but you have to get 100 coins, and then you are able to catch one of that Pokemon.
That'd be interesting. I hope that's the case, because if it's just you get coins and they're worthless, that'd be upsetting to me.
Yeah, no, it's obviously not going to be worthless. Come on.
But like I said, I didn't get to the school yet. But this is not a spoiler because you're going to a town. Like your path is working towards a school that's in the town.
I didn't know that. Come on,
Josh. The girl tells you that in the very beginning. But when you get to town, when you get in the town area, there's even like a small town before that. But when you get into the big town, you really get hit with performance issue. Like people look like they're doing like the robot while they're walking. Pokemon look like they're like frozen in place or they're going through buildings. There's a lot of graphical issues when you get to the town. And I'm hoping that maybe like a post patch will fix it. But right now, when you go to a big area, you'll notice a lot of stuttering, jittering, lag, and potentially console freeze.
I mean, once again, I don't know the intricacies of this, but can a post patch even correct those things?
It can stabilize it. I don't know how they would stabilize it, but I know patches have stabilized things in the past. Like for example, Cyberpunk is a perfect example. Glitchy mess. Patches came through, they stabilized whatever they needed to do, and it became a better game. I'm hoping they could do that with Scarlet and Violet because right now, as much as I do like the open worldness and how vast it is, because like even though I spent 2 hours exploring in the beginning, I didn't explore all of it.
Oh, of course.
But
well, I hope not, because if as big as it's supposed to be, I mean, I don't know what the scale comparison is. I thought I saw something about it online at some point, but like I wonder how it scales to like a Breath of the Wild or to Legends of Arceus. Like
I think it's bigger than Legends of Arceus
okay.
But I think it's to the level of Breath of the Wild because like I said, this game is pushing the Switch to its limits. And you could tell it when you play, because when you play it, you're going to notice a lot of graphical issues, like Pokemon fading through buildings, characters walking very weirdly, or camera clipping issues. or you might just lag in general.
Yeah. Well,
But I'm hoping
so
patches fix that.
hope so. Hope so. I mean, to your point, I'm sure I'll come across some. I just haven't seen any yet. But
Well, besides,
I
God,
no, I'm just saying like I haven't watched any of the like Twitter feeds or videos that you're talking about, but uh, I have seen come across social media the dare I say outburst, but I know it's an well known issue that there's performance issues, but we'll see. I mean,
but besides the issues that I've experienced, like I said, I still hope that post patches make it better. But it's also not bad either. I don't want to make it sound like the game is bad because it's really big, and that's also another problem for me because I really want to explore. I know I should continue with the actual story to progress, but every part of me just wants to explore everything because there's Pokeballs in the wall that you can grab. There's other there's depending on which area you go to, there might be huge clusters of one Pokemon, or there's gonna be different clusters you gotta find. And it's just cool to see that because with the base games, it was always just a straight path. You couldn't go anywhere. This one, you go everywhere. Like I said, I didn't even get to school yet. I've been just exploring, and I only explored maybe like 70% of that first area.
so the other difference is, I mean, I haven't experienced it myself, but I think you're kind of alluding to it. Is unlike Arceus, it's totally open world, right? Like there's no zoning in and out
So
of.
there is zoning,
Okay.
but they have to do that just because of how little the Nintendo Switch can really hold. They have to do loading. There's no way they can actually make a true open world game without loading.
Okay. Okay. So they still do have it like, uh, I don't know, zones, different zones.
Yeah, because
But even though the zones are still huge, but
the zones are very huge. But the first area, once you get to the gate for the city, that's when you zone into the city area.
okay.
Um,
So it functions a lot like Arceus.
yeah, but like
Okay.
I was saying, like the zones are still pretty massive. Like there's still a good amount of exploration without zoning. Um, but so far I'm having fun. Like I said, I only had 2 hours into it. I do plan on playing a lot more later. This whole week is actually probably gonna be dedicated to Violet because I'm looking forward to it. I also chose. I didn't think I said what Pokemon I chose, but I
No,
chose Sprigato,
Regato?
whatever his name
No, no,
is.
Sprig.
Oh, Sprigatito, Spriga. It's
Let's
something.
call it.
I
Let's
just
call it spaghetti.
I just call him Sprig. That's all I call him. He has a weird name. They all have very
Sprig.
confusing names. But I chose
Well,
Sprig is my first guy. He's the grass cat guy. And then I'm also purposely making my team only new Pokemon, which I'm a little disappointed that they keep pushing old Pokemon on me because like so far the new ones I've caught was the Tarantula guy, Lechoink,
oh,
huh?
the chunk.
Lechonk. Then you also have Pawnee or Pawnin, whatever his name is, which I didn't realize he was an electric type, which makes me happy because he's pretty cool looking. And then I also have Fido.
Yeah, I haven't encountered. I have not yet encountered those last two yet. But I caught those same two, and then yeah, yeah. To your point, some older Pokemon that I didn't really want, but I'm just catching them to catch them. So
Yeah, so far it's
yeah,
just
I
all
mean,
old Pokemon.
I mean, because home isn't going to be accessible until I think they said Feb March.
Yeah, but they
March.
do that so you don't boost your guys too quickly
Oh
because
yeah, yeah. Oh,
like
that's
Sword and
fine.
Shield had the same thing and Sun and Moon did too. But what I
Yeah,
was disappointed in, and I get that there's over 900 Pokemon that would be too much to code for the game, especially for Switch. But I was told that they're cutting more than half the Pokemon from the game, even with the National Pokédex.
they said the same thing with Sword and Shield. And they ended up patching more in.
Well, yeah, but they didn't patch all of them in.
They didn't patch all of them in. You're right, but
But supposedly this one they can't patch. They can only patch half of them in because of how massive the game is. It would be too overloading because of how they load the Pokemon in the world.
well, not only that, but look at all the different terror types or whatever the terraform types that they have. Which once again, I feel like that's taken. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like it's probably taken too much of that memory that they could have just had other regular Pokemon in. Like I don't know. I feel like I'm tired of the gimmicks.
Like
You
the
know,
I,
every generation's had a gimmick since like I don't know, maybe Ruby Sapphire. I don't remember what the first gimmick even was anymore. But
well, the
whether
first
it
one
was
was Mega Evolution. That was in X and Y.
with the Pokemon, but they also had the gimmicks with the special move types, right? like whether it was the bracelet or the I don't know what else they had, the necklace, the
Well,
ring. I don't
well,
know what
yeah,
they had.
that's what I'm telling you. Like the first one was Mega Evolution with X and Y. Then
Okay.
after X and Y, it was Z moves from Sun and Moon. Then it was Dynamax. Now it's Terastallization, which, like I said, I've kept myself completely pure on this. I had no idea that was even a thing. I know you said it was something like that, but when she said Terastallizing, I'm like, what the heck is this? All it does is crystallize them and turn them into like a light bulb or whatever. I was like, that's cool, but not cool at the same time. Like Dynamax looked better. It's like like you said, the gimmicks almost seem to be getting worse and worse as they go on. Like they don't look
Yeah,
better, they don't look cooler, they don't seem better. Like they aren't as useful. It's like Mega
yeah,
Evolutions are still the peak, and they'll never get better than that.
yeah. I mean, the Mega Evolution was cool. I would probably argue that it was probably the best one as well. But like, I just like I think this one might be the best in the sense that for actual people that are going to be playing like in tournaments and stuff and making teams, it gives that mysterious, okay, which type is he or she have in the party? Like, because depending on the Pokemon, they have, an array of different types.
So
So,
wait, can any Pokemon terrestrialize, or is it only certain Pokemon?
in my understanding, every single Pokemon could terrestrialize. And every single Pokemon has, now, this, don't quote me, I don't think every Pokemon has every single type as an option, but everyone has like 3 or 4 different types, or maybe plus.
That
Maybe I'm wrong.
makes
Maybe
that makes sense then, because right now, if you have Pokemon Scarlet or Violet and use a mystery gift, your free gift is a flying Terra Pikachu. And I was wondering what the heck Terra was. So it means terrestrialization, I'm guessing.
correct. Yes.
Oh,
So
okay.
so for that dynamic, I think it's probably the best one because it's like, okay, I know, that Pokemon's form, or I'm sorry, their type, but now because of the Terralization, whatever, the T stuff, um, they could just change their type at a whim and you don't know what it is. Now, I think that's awesome. But like nonetheless, all the different gimmicks, I didn't really care. Like I just never cared about it. And Sword and Shield they were fun because you had the Dynamax and then you had the ones with the rare Gigantamax, right?
Mhm.
I guess in this game there's kind of a similar thing where it's like, okay, for this Pokemon, all the types are going to be common, but the Dragon Terrorization is going to be the rare one. So that's the one that you're going to go do the dens and try to get with your friends and all that stuff.
So
I could do without it. If that's the thing that is holding back more Pokemon, give me more Pokemon. Take that shit out. I
yeah.
know it's not going to happen. It's too late, but I'm just saying going forward,
Well,
they need to think about those things.
the way you explain it now, I'm kind of looking forward to terrestrialization because it sounds cool. Because I thought it was just like what's it called, mega evolving. Like it just gets a better form that's stronger. I didn't know you could change the actual typing of it.
It changes the type of the Pokemon.
I actually kind of like that, so I'm looking forward to it. And the 2 hours I'm in, um, the our supposed rival only shows it once, but we can't do it. We have to learn how to do it, and I haven't gotten to that part yet, so I'm now looking forward to learning how to terrestrialize. So that's gonna be really cool. Also, as you were saying earlier, with friends, when you get this is still in the beginning part of the game. Supposedly, you can actually be 4 players almost immediately on the game. I'm not gonna do
Oh,
it because I want to play the game myself first, solo,
mhm,
and then
mhm.
play with friends others, or play with others after I complete it. But I heard when you, from what I was told, from the game, because they explain how co-op works, you can go into the world with up to 4 players, but you don't have to stick with each other. You can all explore different places and Pokemon. Like obviously, if I join you, I'll experience Scarlet Pokemon. If you join
Okay,
me, I'll experience or you'll experience Violet Pokemon.
okay.
But our Pokemon won't be the same though. Like if you come across a Psyduck and you challenge them, that doesn't mean I can challenge the same Psyduck. So like if you get a shiny, I can't get that same shiny as well because it'll be only count for you, not me. Which I thought was
I
interesting that somebody you could actually literally rob a shiny from another player.
Yeah, I read that, and I mean, it makes sense in the grand scheme of things, right? But I think, but well, hold on, clear this for me. So you said four people can play, got that. You said they all don't have to be in the same area. So you mean, once again, talking about the zoning
I'm
aspect of
assuming
it.
the same zone,
Okay,
but you don't have to be
okay.
in the same area in that zone. But of course, I haven't got to it yet, so I could be completely wrong. But from what it was detailing, is that you'll all be in that same locate, like that same zone instance. Like if you're in the beginning, you could all travel separately in that one safari area.
Gotcha. Because I was gonna say, if it was the other way, where it's like, hey, I'm gonna go back to the city, not sayonara, but hey, like that'd be super cool. But it obviously, I don't think that's the way it runs either. So you probably got to queue up and then enter, like you said, the zone together. Um, and I guess whoever's the host kind of just like kicks everybody out and goes back to the when they want to go to the city or whatever, a different zone. But
Yeah, because the way they have it, so I know you haven't gotten there yet, so I'm not going to describe it. But they have this. So the connection place is called Union Circle. That's how you get people in. And there's certain spots around the world where you can actually activate Union Circle, and that's
is
how you
it that
send
like
people there.
is it that like little kiosk that they showed in the trailers?
Okay, so you've seen the kiosk, right?
Well, I'm assuming that's probably what it is because of the trailers.
Yeah.
I
So,
haven't seen it yet in game. I haven't got there far, but
but you've seen it in
since
the
you're
trailer.
explaining it,
Yeah. So
I got a picture of it. If it's the same thing that you're talking,
yeah, it almost looks like a gas pump, like a gas station thing.
maybe.
Like you see the Pokemon Center, you see the Pokemart, and you see a little.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I didn't know that because, like I said, I kept myself pure. I was like, "Is that the Pokemon Center?" It looks so weird, but it
Man,
looks
I
like a
kept
gas
myself pure
station.
too. I kept myself pure too, but I still watched the trailers.
I kept myself completely in the dark from everything, which I never do. Like I said, I don't usually care about spoilers. I just did it because I don't know, it felt weird. But when I seen that, I was like, "Is that really a Pokemon Center?" Because it looks like a gas station. I'm like, "They got gas stations in this game?" And it turns out it's just a Poke Center, Pokemart, and the Union Circle.
You have to put the pump in your Pokemon's culo.
And from what I've seen, they also I think they brought Wonder Trading back
That'd be cool.
because I know that there's
Wait,
those.
it
What's up?
actually left?
Yeah, I don't think it's in Sword and Shield. I could be wrong. I haven't really done much online trading, but I think it left Sword and Shield because I see it back now. They have GTS. They have something else. I think they have search trading, which is like you put something up and get that in return.
You might be right, but I know it's in home though. You could do Wonder Trades in home.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, that much I do know. You could set up. You could actually put 10 Pokemon up for either, hey, here's what I'm looking, or here's what I'm looking for. This is what you could get, or you could put them up for Wonder Trade.
Okay. Yeah, because the search thing is in there too, which I like, because eventually, if I can ever find the Pokemon breeder, I'm going to breed Sprig and ask for Quaxley and Croc. Or what's his name? Fuecoco, whatever his name is.
Wait, go.
Fuecoco. So I'm going to try getting those. But so far, I'm really liking it. I can't wait to beat the game so I could try the 4-player cup because I really want to see how that plays out. If you really could go anywhere in the world without the person being there, that'd be interesting, but also kind of defeats the purpose of playing with somebody.
Not really, because I think the best part of that mechanic, in my opinion, is that I could get the Violet exclusives, you could get the Scarlet exclusive.
Oh yeah, I definitely like that
like
you
that,
can get. Yeah.
like that's the biggest, coolest thing about that. Um, but let me ask you this, even though you're just like an hour ahead of me. But remember how we talked before the game came out about how it's non-linear or somewhat non-linear, which I think everybody, or at least we like. Um, so what are your methods of beating the game? Do you know all about them all yet?
I
Because we
think
know
once you
about
get
the
to
actual.
I think once you get to school, they'll tell you. Haven't gotten to school. I've only gotten to the first city. But I'm pretty sure once you get to school, they'll tell you the 3 paths.
Do you think, since we're both not there yet, do you think they're going to give you like all four options? They're like, yeah, just go out there and fucking work on all four of them. Or do you think they're going to make it linear
Oh,
and have
choose
you
a path.
choose one to do first, and then you select another one after you master it?
I want to say they're gonna give it to you all at once because if you lock yourself down to a path, that would really cut the exploration that you go across the world.
Mm, maybe,
Because
maybe not.
that means you'll be forced to do this one objective, and until you complete that one objective, you can't work on the other ones.
Well, okay, but every objective could still trek you into exploring the world, right? Because like if you gotta go kill Jim, like, or kill, if you gotta go
You
battle,
gotta go kill him, take him out, get his family.
if you got if you gotta go battle gym leaders, more than likely you're gonna put them all around the continent, so you visit every part of the continent, right? If they're gonna have you collect 30 Pokemon in each region, well, it's going to force you to go to every region and collect 30 Pokemon, whatever it is, because I don't know what they all are yet. So it could still be achieved, is what I'm saying, right? But I agree with you. I think they'll probably give you all of them, or be like, maybe there's a progress in the Pokemon, I'm sorry, the Pokedex, where it's like, here's your 4 major things, and here's your progress. I don't know. Remains to be seen, but I was just curious if you've got to that point.
No, like I said, I've only gotten to the city. I think they will explain that in the school because it makes sense. The school will give you information, but I have no idea. I definitely know I'll find out this weekend because I'm gonna play through the whole game. But what would you choose first? I feel like I'm gonna go traditional with the gym battles because I really wanna.
Oh, you bastard! I was gonna probably say that too. It depends what those options are. Is it 4 or 3 different methods? No, no, no.
I thought it was 3, but I could be wrong. My
3?
information is very limited.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we both know that there's at least, right. So let's go with that. I have to see what they are. I think I'm leaning towards traditional myself, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe one is kind of the way they sell it. It's like
So
different route. We won't go traditional this time.
what makes you go traditional? Is it just because it's simpler and you know what you're doing? For me, the reason why I'm going traditional is only because I like the fact I don't have to battle them in order. And that means I could.
Is that factual though?
I think that's what they said.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, if that's the case, then yes, that's kind of cool. So then, how does then? So would it?
I think it's like you get the gym badge and then the Pokemon start scaling higher and higher, like level
Exactly.
wise.
That's what I'm saying. So, okay. Okay.
That's just my assumption. I don't know because I'm not there, but I'm assuming that's how it works. That you can battle them in any order, and they will just level scale to whatever you're currently at, or at least like get you 10 or 20, whatever.
That would make sense, and that would be kind of cool because then it would be like, okay, what kind of Pokemon do I got in my group? They're at this level. Which gym type would be easiest for me at this point, right?
Yes, and that means you can also customize your team. Like if you know you're going to target the electric guy first, you just build your team to counter electric, and then same thing with water or whatever. I think that's cool if that's really truly you could choose any gym battle, but that's just why I want to go with it.
I think it'd be cool. Another way I think it would be cool is no matter what across the board, every gym was level 50 Pokemon or something like that. So it's
level
like,
50, all of them.
Yes,
That would suck for me because that means I have to go explore all.
No, okay, but that's the point. It forces you to go explore and level up your Pokemon before you're able to challenge one of the gyms. That would be kind of cool. I'm just saying. I think that'd be cool.
I'll just hover around the nearest one, then level up as much as I can, and just take that guy out. Then.
I mean, you could, but
I hope they don't do that because I wouldn't like that.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's gonna go the scaling way, like you suggest. See how that would work, but that's not the only solution. I'm just saying. It would be cool walking like, I'm about to not.
So I know another thing that I know you've done this too, and I've done this for every single game, or at least since Ruby and Sapphire. I've completed the Pokédex, and I know you have too for most of the games. Are you gonna go for a complete Pokédex this game? At least the first Pokédex, not the national one.
And like the game version Pokédex? Yeah, of course. Actually, that's probably one of the methods, right? Probably complete the Pokédex, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, of course. Now, as far as like whatever the current version of the national dex is, we'll see. I was, as you were asking that question, I was even trying to think if I finished Sword and Shield, and I'm like sitting here, I don't even think I finished that one. So I mean, the national.
Yeah, I finished the national decks because dude, people in the Pokemon community are really generous, especially on Twitch. Because like when I was going for my Pokedex completion, the first one, because you get like a shiny stone or whatever to make shiny hunting easier. I had people trade me Pokemon I didn't have, and eventually I completed the first Pokedex, and they kept trading me even more. So and I completed the national Pokedex at the same time. I don't know if I'm
Yeah,
gonna do the same route this time, but it was just funny how I completed the national Pokedex just because people kept on trading me the ones I did need.
mhm. Yeah, well, I feel like, yeah, I mean, the generosity is great. I don't know if I've had that kind of luck, but usually when it comes to the rare Pokemon, especially like at home, like if you want a rare, you got to give up a rare.
Oh no, I
Like
definitely agree equal trade, but like these guys, like they'd be like, oh yeah, just give me like a random throwaway Pokemon, I'll give you like a shiny Dragapult or whatever. I'm like, okay.
like those though are the ones that are concerning to me if they're hacked. Like I definitely don't want no hacked Pokemon.
Can you hack in Sword and Shield?
I think every game has been hackable.
I know
Where
there's
the
an ex.
hacking,
Well, wait, are you saying hacking or exploit? Because I know I have a bunch of exploit shinies where you just reset the den over and over again until you get a shiny. But I don't think I know if there's
no,
hacks.
yeah, yeah, not, no, no, not those are. I mean, those are fine. you
Yeah,
could,
because I
you
have
could, you
those.
could, yeah, you could question the, how they're exploiting the system for that, but no, they're still technically considered legit. No, I believe there was still somehow hacking, but where the hacking, um, where that roadblock ends is Pokemon Home. So I believe that's where somehow Nintendo has been able to.
Oh, you're
Um,
talking about where they go from Pokemon Bank to Pokemon Home because they use like Game Freak or Action Replay on the 3DS and then transform over to there. Is that what you're talking about?
something like that. I mean, I never sat down to research as to how it's happening, but I believe with Pokemon Home, Nintendo has been able to filter and somehow be like, oh, that's fake. That can't come here. That can't come home. So,
That makes sense because I
uh,
know with the competitive scene, because like with the World Championship that happened recently, I think they banned two professional players because they somehow got max stat Pokemon that weren't legitimate through dens, and because they just joined a hack den, which I was like, I mean, it sucks that they joined a hack den, didn't realize it because that's not on them, but they still got it because of a coding error or whatever.
yeah, there's. I'm sure the information's out there. I just haven't read it enough to speak clearly on this, but I'm sure you've noticed in many generations up until now that when you go to your Pokedex or your Pokemon and you go through the different tabs, there's like icons that you could toggle on yourself or they pop up because you caught it in this version of this game. Like Pokemon
Are you talking
Go
about like
has
between
some
like a
icons,
circle, star, triangle, and all that stuff?
all that stuff.
Okay.
There is one that will pop up if it's hacked, like if it's fake Pokemon. Um, So yeah, so I applaud Nintendo for finally figuring it out, or Game Freak, Pokemon Company, whoever, all collaboration. So that's cool. But to your point, you just don't know sometimes, right? You just think you're getting a cool mon, and then yeah, might be dirty.
I mean, I have no problem with dirty mons as long as
I,
like if it's not competitive. Like I think because I don't think they ban you for having a modified Pokemon. I think they only ban you if you're doing online play, right?
I would well, yeah, I would assume so, but
And I like that. I like that
I,
they
I
let you modify your Pokemon as long as it's not online play.
I would have to do some digging. Now you kind of make me want to do this. But I thought they actually did like they might have banned like accounts or something
Oh, they probably did
somehow.
if it was a competitive play for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, lesson learned. Hey, stop cheating.
Because I know,
Um,
like, if we're going to like the DS days, I know I 100% share. Like, I had the action replay, got all the Pokemon I
oh
wanted, shinies.
yeah, I never did that. Never, ever, 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 ever,
Never
ever,
admitted it, but I
ever,
did
do that.
it.
Nope, nope, nope. The only thing once upon a time, I think I was still working at EB Games at the time. I can't remember now, but I don't know if you remember this. Back in the day, sometimes they would have kiosks where you would bring in your Game Boy and you
Mm.
would plug it in to download like the shiny Pokemon or whatever. You remember those days?
Well, I don't remember shiny Pokemon, but I know they had event Pokemon, like, for like Emerald, Ruby, Sapphire. You would go in there, they would load the Deoxys data in there, so you can go to that special island. I remember
Mhm.
those.
Yeah. So similar concept. Um, they did one for Shiny Zigzagoon,
Mm.
and there was no limit. So like, I fucking went and I got like a whole box full of Shiny Zigzagoons, and I held on to it for a while. And eventually, I'm like, why am I doing this? At some point, so I deleted like a bunch of them, but I still kept like about 8 of them, and now like not that they're like really sought after, but it's just a cool shiny to have, even though it's just zigzag.
It,
So that's probably the length of me cheating or exploiting, but it's still legit because I downloaded it from a kiosk. So
so the funny thing that
Nintendo endorsed.
the funny thing you mentioned it, because I guess I could do this too if I was truly mischievous, but I'm not because I want to give these out. But with these Pokemon codes, there's no limit on redeeming these codes. You can redeem all of them on your same game.
Wait, what?
Yes, because
Really?
they're all different codes, so you would redeem it and it would still count for a different Pokemon.
No, I don't think that's true. Have you done it yet?
Well, not with these codes, but I've done with another code where I meant to put it for another game, but I accidentally did it on the same game, and I got two of the same
Really?
Pokemon.
Really? Okay, I didn't think that was a possibility because I thought that when you redeem them on your one game, your one save file, that because it's a mystery gift, it would kind of like
But you would
kind
need the
of
code with the mystery gift, and that's the reason why you could do it. Because when they did, when Pokemon Sword and Shield first came out, when they were doing that Eevee and Pikachu one, I redeemed Pikachu and Eevee twice on Sword by accident.
no, but that makes sense because they're different Pokemon.
No. I'm saying I redeemed the set twice. Like I got Pikachu and Eevee
Okay,
the first time, and then I redeemed the code again for Pikachu and Eevee, and got another second Pikachu and Eevee because it was Let's Go ones or whatever they were. So I got two sets on the same game, and it was just from codes like these.
I did not think that was a possibility. I thought like I seriously thought that once you claimed it, that like that file was locked to redeem that promotion for that time. So that's interesting.
Yeah, because obviously I won't do it because I want to give these out to people that didn't get a chance to get them. But I know with some of them I was able to redeem twice. One was an accident, one was on purpose.
Interesting. That is interesting.
But because I didn't realize, I think the reason why they do that is because every time you redeem them, the stats aren't the same.
That's true. I did notice it this time around when you gave them to me. I'm like, damn, this suck.
Because I got a shiny Eternatus, whatever the guy's name is,
Mhm.
and I was like, oh, are they all perfects? Redeem the second one, it was horrible stats. So I got a perfect Eternatus shiny
Mm,
because of redeeming codes.
interesting. Um, yeah, I haven't really paid attention to the previous stats, but I did notice that for these two, I was like, man, their stats are kind of shitty.
Mm.
Um,
Because
interesting.
I think it's like Pokemon Go where it's guaranteed to be like an 80 plus, but it'll never be
Mm,
100 plus, or unless if you get
yeah,
like lucky.
gotcha. I mean, you could still gold. The beauty about Pokemon though is, yeah, stats matter, but like you could golden bottle cap it and get it to all 100 anyway. So
Yeah, that's true. Or you could just breed.
yeah, which doesn't exist in Pokemon Go. I want to say yet, but who the hell knows?
I don't care if it's in Pokemon Go. I'm talking about like the base games.
Oh yeah, well me either. I just kind of threw that out there as well. But circle back around. Much like you, I can't wait to indulge. Unfortunately,
You got World of Warcraft.
well yeah, not only that though, but my next couple, yeah, it is. I was like even the next couple of weeks though with before Dragonflight comes out, I have a lot going on. I mean, we got Thanksgiving. I'm actually going to go out.
Thanksgiving's
By the
next
way,
week.
I don't know if we talked about this yet, but I am going out of state, so I don't know how we're going to do the next episode. But we'll talk about that later. Um, so yeah, I can't wait to sit down and put like 8 to 10 hours
Maybe
in.
during your travel times for family, you could play Pokemon while you're out.
That's true. That
Because
is
you won't
true.
have your computer to play World of Warcraft, so family time, Pokemon time.
That is true. And family tends to play Pokemon anyway, so there we go. Because
So
I think I'm gonna get. She's probably not gonna watch this anyways, or hear this, but I'm gonna get my mom, I think, a Switch. So
I'll be cool to play the Pokemon games, or
yeah, and that's what I was gonna do with my second copy of Scarlet.
okay. Well, that works out perfect then. And if she needs, Violet Pokemon, she knows who to add on Twitch.
There you go.
But I will charge your shiny Pokemon. No, I'm joking. But do you know? Okay, so going back to how we're gonna play the game, we both decide traditional. Are you gonna go type matching for gym, or are you just purposely picking one static team to go? Because usually I always go variety in my team. I like to get like a, obviously a starter, then a flying, ground, whatever, to just do balance things out. Because I know since I'm going variety, I'm also making sure I only pick the new Pokemon. I don't want any old Pokemon on my team. Is that what you're
I
doing? And who are you gonna pick?
No, historically, I is probably the dumbest way to build a party, but I tend to catch and then level up the ones that I deem look cool.
No,
I'll just be honest.
that's how I used to do it for the longest time.
Like that's how I roll. And then if I have a shitty comp and I'm getting steamrolled at a particular gym, then I backtrack and be like, okay, now I gotta get one that is gonna be super effective, and then move forward. So if I go that path, I think that continuity is going to stay, and whichever ones I think are cool are going to be part of my team.
It's funny that you say because I did the exact same thing for a very long time. I think for except black and white or X and Y, because there was a dragon gym leader that was insanely hard to beat unless you had like an ice or fairy type Pokemon there. So now if there's a dragon type trainer or a dragon type gym leader in any of the Pokemon games, I always make sure I always have at least one fairy or ice type Pokemon, just so I can counter those annoying dragon types that seem invincible otherwise.
Yeah, I think and I'm sure maybe you have read this. I know I did. I don't think this really is a spoiler alert, but as these generations have gone or come along, the games have gotten easier. And maybe that's because we've been playing for so long, so we're kind of attuned to how they play. But the census is that this one's really easy, and you could immediately identify that at the very start of the game when your neighbor chooses their Pokemon.
Yeah, they always choose the one that's weakest towards you.
Yeah, and that was never the case in the early days. They chose the one that was stronger against you. So yeah, I'm not overly concerned with that if I choose that path or when I do even explore that path. But yeah, I think if you're cool, you're with me, man.
I think the only reason why, well, it's actually, now that you mentioned it, it is true that they made the games easier as time goes on because like they even had to create fairy type because fairy type wasn't an original type. They created fairy type because they needed another counter for dragons. Because dragons were usually the OP typing because it was very weak against, or sorry, it was strong against most things, and the only thing that could really beat it was an ice, and even that. If you didn't have like an Ice Beam Lapras or whatever, it's like you weren't gonna get past them unless you had tons of revives, tons of potions, which I kind of don't like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think now historically, like the original types, because Dark wasn't an original type either. Kind of really brain farting here. I want to say there's more, but I can't think.
I still feel bad for poor Charizard, man. Like that guy is just fire and flying, and really he should be a dragon because he basically embodies dragons.
Yeah, he totally embodies a dragon. It wasn't until his Mega Evolution and only the X version where he actually converted to a dragon. But
he's like, I'm a dragon too. Like even Kingdra, a water Pokemon, is a dragon. I'm like, how the heck is he a dragon? But yeah, Charizard isn't.
There's a bunch of dragons that shouldn't really be dragons either. Like, what is the name of that one? It looks like a freaking skyscraper in Sword and Shield. Like,
oh yeah, God, what's his name?
It's a fucking building and it's a dragon. Like what? or even I can't think of the third evolution, but it's like the first one is like Gulu or something.
Gudra.
Gudra. There you go. That's a dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a whole bunch of weird typings that I'm like, that there's like, oh, you're electric. I'm like, you don't embody no electric attributes.
So wait until the dragon form Eevee comes out. Whenever that happens.
Oh yeah, that's the only typing that Eevee doesn't have, right?
Uh, steel, right? There's no steel
Oh
Eevee.
yeah.
Oh, that's another type that wasn't original type. There is dark. We got fairy. So this is just steel, dragon, bug. There's no bug Eevee. Um,
You're right.
no flying Eevee. Although if you punch one, they're gonna fly.
You're right. So flying steel, dragon. I'm trying to think of what else. There's probably a bunch of typings.
Oh, ground, fighting,
Poison,
poison,
ghost.
ghost. Did we cover them all?
Probably.
I
Whoever,
think
if we
we
didn't
might have
cover them,
covered
most
them
somebody will
all.
correct us.
Yeah, but there's a lot of different EVs that don't.
But I'm really looking forward to how I almost call it Sword and Shield. Scarlet and Violet's gonna play out. Like it is really open world. Are you gonna do the same thing where you're not gonna do online until you beat the game?
Probably. I think that's a fair statement.
Because I know that's what I'm gonna do. I've had people say, "Oh, you should join me." I'm like, no, I want to go solo on this one for a little bit. I feel bad, but
Yeah.
I'm like, I just want to experience the game.
Yeah. No, I'm ready to get lost in it for sure.
And you can definitely
Um,
get lost in this game.
yeah. Riddle me this.
Remember this, Batman.
Um, Riddle me this, Batman. What do you? Even though we're really early in the game, so we have probably no idea or thought process, but probably could be assumed that there's going to be DLC. How do you think that's going to work?
I don't know if there's gonna. Well, I meant there's probably gonna be a DLC, but I think they're gonna go free DLC.
Really? Whoa! Ooh, that'd be even better.
The only reason why I say that is because with Sword and Shield, you knew that there was going to be an expansion pass. They didn't say what they were yet, but you know that there was going to be two before they announced it. This
Well,
this one they didn't
no,
say that there was any expansion pass.
and that's why I'm bringing this up because when Sword and Shield came out, I don't want to say it wasn't the day of, but
No, it was a couple
very.
months later. Well, no, they
Well,
they
it
let you
wasn't
know that was
even.
going to be available, but you had it was a couple months before you could actually buy the pre-order.
So they had the season pass the day of the release.
No, no,
I
no.
don't
They
remember
they
that.
announced that there was going to be a season pass, but you couldn't buy the season pass till December of 2018. It was like 3 months after the game originally came out, but we all knew that
Okay.
was coming out.
Okay. So to that point, but they announced it very early. Is I guess my point here. Okay. And we knew it was two. Like we knew, I think the name of the first one, and we had like a screenshot of what the second was without the name, something like that. Remember seeing
Hmm.
that? So with that said, I'm wondering if we're gonna get that same treatment this time.
if if the DLC isn't free and we don't hear in the next 4 months, then we're probably not gonna get DLC.
I
Which
don't know
would
why. I feel like Sword of Shield it wasn't months. Like I feel like it like we learned about it super quickly.
no, we
Like
did. We
like
learned
within the
about
first month.
the expansion pass before the game came out. We just couldn't buy it until a couple months later.
Mm, okay.
Yeah, because we knew it was gonna like they advertised it like Sword and Shield, and then expansions later, and then they're like per expansion December 8th or whatever. Like at least you knew about it beforehand. They had no information about any expansions at all. Like they didn't even hint that there
Yeah.
was going to be expansions.
Yeah. So yeah, this one. So that makes me wonder if what, like we know there's going to be some sort of post game content as there always is, but yeah, I wonder if there's going to be DLC and if it's for free. I mean, hell,
I hope so.
obviously. Yeah, I mean that's I think for everyone's best interest and everyone would be happy. But I mean we're not far in the game yet to kind of even at least figure out what that DLC could possibly be. But I genuinely liked what they did for Sword and Shield, and maybe I don't know, maybe the same thing could apply here where there's just other islands to go to. I don't know.
One thing I would like to see, and I don't know if this is the case because I've kept very limited stuff, but somebody did tell me this, and I told them not to spoil anything. But they said that the post game is different for each game, and supposedly Violet's better than Scarlet. Which,
Hmm.
if that's the case, I'm hoping that with the online stuff, they'll let you replay missions or replay quests. Like, let's say if I finish post game or I finish the post game solo, and I invite somebody, could they still play that post game so they could experience it too, or are they just screwed and you have to buy it again?
Hmm,
Because that's
interesting.
been something that you can never do. You can never replay gym battles. You can never replay missions or quests. And I think that's a missed opportunity. I think a lot of people would probably replay the same gyms or quests, even if it's higher level. I think a lot of people would still do that.
At that point you just made, you light bulb something in my head. Don't the two versions have different gym types?
I know Sword and Shield did. They had two different gym leaders, depending on who you played. Like I think if you had Shield, it was like a ghost type and something else, and then Sword was something else. I don't know if that's the same case with Scarlet and Violet, but from what I was told from somebody that there is different quests leading later.
I
I
mean,
don't know if that's true
I
because I
figured
haven't
this.
experienced it.
Yeah, I figured that the story part was going to be different because of not full spoilers, but the way that people were, how can I put it, coming together with theories with the games. I guess like one's past, future, all that shit.
Oh, that'd be really interesting.
Yeah, so just with that knowledge, like I felt like this would be the first generation where the Virgins have a very different type of storyboard, which is cool because I think that's probably a reason why I didn't play both the most. It's like you're getting the same type of game. The only difference is different mons, and you get to get the other legendary you want to put your decks, all that good stuff. But the story is the same exact thing. So I think that's for me personally that would be a driving point to finally actually play the other version through and through. But we'll see. I mean, it depends how dynamically different they are.
Yeah,
Um,
which
so
it's this should be like a driving force why you wouldn't want to buy the other game because so far it just seems like a money grab why there's two versions but no actual
mhm,
difference.
mhm.
But
And actually, that would make sense to be a driving force because if you're having the multiplayer option, that kind of negates any other reason to play the game because you could go catch the exclusive Pokemon for that version anyway. There has to be a driving force, right? Because
mhm.
then so yeah, we'll see. Sounds like you'll be farther ahead of me,
And then we can
but
compare and contrast later when we finally beat the game and have second opinions on this because so far we're still first.
yes,
But
yes, very true.
if there is a night and day, like the X and Y would have been the best example, like you know how they were doing like the 1,000 year time restart. Imagine if that works with this, because like with the Violet one, the dragon legit doesn't even look like a Pokemon. He looks like a Digimon, robot Power Ranger Digimon. Like I'm pretty sure if you put like another guy on top of him, they're mighty morphing into something else.
Mhm.
And he has all digital eyes, and he just doesn't. He seems like he knows you, but he doesn't know why he knows you. That makes sense. Man, I want to. Well, I guess because you've seen this as a trailer, and I know probably other people have too. But the legendary that you get, you actually have from the start.
I haven't got that far, but I kind of figured as much.
I had no idea that the legendary actually. This is the first time the legendary Pokemon actually is with you from the start, and you have
Yeah,
to make them stronger as you go on.
I think that's awesome.
I think it's cool too. I wasn't expecting that because
Yeah.
like I kept myself pure, and when I went to obviously you're getting to that part because you got into the beach and you heard him cry, but that's where you form your connection.
So like the only other game, although this is definitely more story driven, and it gives you that connection you're talking about. The only other game that I could think of where like you get a legendary at the very start. I forgot which version it was, but there was the promotion where you got Victini
Oh,
right
that
at
was
the
black. That
start.
was black and white. That was no black
Oh,
and white too. Black and white too.
Yeah, that's probably the only comparison.
But is
And,
Victini legendary or mythical? I think that's a difference
well, you're right. Probably mythical, but I mean, let's be real. They're both like,
in the
you
same
shouldn't get it.
category.
You,
Yeah.
you shouldn't get it. Like, you should not have this Pokemon at the start of the game. So that's the only thing I would compare it to. But yeah, I didn't read that, or I guess in some capacity you kind of spoiled it for me, but that's okay.
Oh, I thought you were
Um,
telling me something about that originally, and I'm like,
no,
that's
no,
a thing.
I said it because it was my guess that I guessed that was going to happen. So I guess my guess is correct, which is kind of cool. Um, and I really do think it's cool. Like you start off with a legendary Pokemon, but he's gonna be weak as shit, and you level it up. Like, I think that's fucking really cool.
Well, I don't know if you get, well, you'll experience it, but I don't think
Yeah.
you can use them just yet.
Well, to that point, once again, I also kind of figured as much. Like, look, he's going to be your transportation dummy. Eventually, you'll maybe unlock him at level 50. I don't know, but yeah. I mean, they kind of did it with Cosmo a little bit.
Yeah, but you didn't get to use him. The girl had her, or the girl had him, or whatever Cosmog is.
True. Yeah.
Because like you meet him on the bridge, and then Tapu, Koko, or whatever the deities attacked it, and then
Coco.
and then the girl protected Cosmog, and then they nursed it back to health, and then eventually Cosmog evolved into either Solgaleo or Lunala.
Ooh, there's a. I'm not fully spoiled, but I think I know a spoiler, and I want to share it, but I'm not going to.
Go ahead, do it. Because you could be wrong if it's not from actual sources.
That's true. So I thought I saw somewhere that, and it makes sense, that how Sword and Shield had Galarian forms of the legendary birds. This game will have Paldea versions of the three dogs.
If that's the case, that'd be awesome because the Galarian birds are chef's kiss. They were beautiful.
I concur.
The only thing is that the dogs, in my opinion, Raikou's my favorite dog. Entei would probably be my most used dog, but Raikou's definitely my favorite.
I like Suicune the most. I feel like Raikou is the best, and I feel like Entei is like just the leader.
To me, the Pokemon movie 2000 ruined Entei for me because when I see Entei, I don't think of the Pokemon, I think of the dad.
I concur.
But no, that'd be really cool. Man, obviously, we'll get to that point. Well, hopefully it's not DLC because if it's in post game, that'd be cool. But I wonder how they would change the forms up because I will admit that some of the Pokemon in the game, I know you've probably seen it, I know other people have. I didn't see it until it was in the game and it's still early on in the game. There's Paldea Whooper or Whopper, whatever his name is. That's poison and ground type, which looks cool. And then they also have a Paldea Taurus, which is pure black. And I think he looks super dope.
I saw that in the opening sequence. I was like, Taurus, new colors.
Yeah.
I kind of wish he wasn't all black. Like, the fur could have been like stealth gray or something. But I hope, I'm glad to see Tauros back. I think Tauros deserves an evolution, which I don't know if he's going to get. If there's a different Paldea only version, maybe hopefully he gets something. I don't know. But I think Tauros is overdue to get some sort of whatever. So it's good to see him back.
I just hope that his shiny isn't white because usually if there's like a normal version that's black, his shiny is always white. Yeah, and I hope that's not the case here.
Opposite spectrum. That'd be weird looking.
I just don't want to see a Dookie Brown Tauros or a Throat Green Tauros because the shiny Tauros was awful.
Yeah, no green. Yeah, well, the shiny Tauros was like zombie Tauros. Yeah, I don't like the green shinies at all. Like, I'd much rather have the pink shinies.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Or the black, white, purple, or what was the shiny for Lucario? He basically looked like Zora. He was like yellow and black.
No, wait, did he retain his colors from Riolo? Because Riolo was like a not gold, like a yellow and
yellow and blue,
black,
or whatever it was. Yeah, that's what Lucario looks like.
Lucario. Yeah, that one's badass.
Yeah, I love that look for that Lucario. Yeah. Which, at first, when people were like hyping up Zora, the legendary from Sun and Moon, I thought that was just shiny Lucario.
Looks that way. Speaking of which, what is the shiny of that one? I don't think I know what it looks like.
I think it's white.
Is it? Oh, I think you are right.
It's white and black or white and red.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I probably have one and I just totally forgot.
Well, yeah, you do have one because you're the one that told me about it, and that's when I got both mine, Sun and Moon one.
Yeah, okay.
Because it was an event. But
I wonder which is going to be my shiny favorite out of the new ones, even if it's just a Paldea version in this game, because I haven't seen any. But for Sword and Shield,
talking about Pokemon, or are we talking about legendary dogs? What are we talking about?
No, shiny Pokemon. I wonder which one's going to end up being my favorite. Because for Sword and Shield, my hands down favorite was Zigzagoon, That was the first shiny that I really tunnel vision. I'm like, no,
Oh,
I am getting this one, and I a hatched the shit out of it. But I got lucky because
you're talking
I
about
go
Sword and
level
Shield, the pink and white, right?
red and white
Or red and white.
with the blue tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked cool. He definitely looked cool.
My second one was probably, well, I wouldn't say shiny, but oddly enough, like you talking about which Pokemon you're gonna level, and I said out of coolness. I don't know if a lot of people thought it was cool, but I really thought Phalanx was cool, so I fucking leveled Phalanx. He was in my group, so like I said, like cool has to be cool to me, not just because everybody else thinks it's cool. Like I even have Wooloo. Wooloo, he's cool. Shitty as hell, but I want Wooloo.
Yeah.
I really want a shiny Wooloo. I don't think I ever got a shiny Wooloo.
I don't even know what he would look like. Actually, I
It
never
was
even played with Wooloo until you suggested I played with him on my second playthrough.
yeah, shiny
And I
Wooloo
took
is
him on my
just
team.
black.
Oh, that's even cooler.
Yeah. So,
But go on.
no, yeah. I mean, I was just, you know, I just can't wait, man. Just can't wait to dive in, and then like you said, we will definitely be talking about this again, probably even a third time,
Yeah,
probably
so,
even a fourth.
and hopefully it gets better with patches because right now technical issues, but I am looking forward to it and still happy. But moving on to number 2, which when you said riddle me this, I thought you were segueing into that.
Oh no, I did
So
actually.
I seen a huge debate going around recently because of the voice actor for Batman passing away recently. People are starting to talk about the Christopher Nolan Batman. I personally love the Christopher Nolan Batman. I think it's great. But people are saying that the Christopher Nolan Batman isn't good and it shouldn't be considered a Batman movie. Only because the only thing that makes Christopher Nolan's Batman good is not Batman himself, but the villains.
Um, that that is true. I mean, the villains were fucking great. But that's not what only made the movies. No, absolutely not. Like they're so the answer to the question, by the way, I just realized you misspelled Christopher.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have a
Um,
P. There, yeah.
it's Christian Hurd. First off, is the Christian Hurd Nolan Batman trilogy good? The answer is no.
You don't think
They're
the
great.
Okay.
They're great.
You're about to trigger me for a second there.
No, they're great. I freaking love them. They're hands down the best Batmans in my opinion, and especially for a trilogy. Before that, I mean, growing up as a kid, you didn't really critique them as we do now. But I liked all the Batmans. But in comparison, these are definitely superior.
Yeah, so I definitely the Christopher Nolan Batman, or Christopher whatever I spelled. I don't know how I messed that up. I swear I spelled it correctly. I somehow missed the P and everything, and whatever. I'll correct that.
I should never point it out to you.
No, no, no.
Now I triggered you.
No, no, no. That I'm actually laughing because I swear I had my phone out looking to make sure I corrected it, and somehow I still screwed it up. But no, I think the Christopher Nolan Batman is fantastic. It's actually my third favorite movie trilogy of all time. Like Harry Potter. Well, I should say it's series because Harry Potter is my first, Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit is my second, and then Christopher Nolan's Batman is my third. But now that people are talking about, because they're talking about purely by Batman standards, they're bringing up Ben Affleck, what's his name, Robert Pattinson, and then some of the other ones. I personally liked that Christian Bale's Batman felt more like brute force. He didn't have the detective aspect that people sometimes like, but he did a bunch of cool things that were realistic that played to an open world what a real Batman probably would have been. And that's what I appreciate about him. Did he play a good Bruce Wayne? No. I think he played a good Batman, though. Just like I think Ben Affleck plays a good Bruce Wayne, but a horrible Batman.
Okay. I mean, I don't think Bale's Bruce Wayne was all that bad. He definitely wasn't as suave, because I think Bruce Wayne has a little bit of it. But I definitely agree with your assessment with Affleck. Um, However, there was still like I feel like that movie was still great. His version, like they definitely are set apart and unique, especially Patterson's. I really liked it. That was like straight detective Batman. Like there
Mm.
wasn't the brute force. Um, you could say he was kind of emo, but like I loved it. I thought it was great, and it was like detective Batman. And that's why people didn't like it. I'm like, what do you mean, Batman? Like Batman was made to be a detective. That's his whole genesis. Like, how could you not like that?
And that's why I think
Um,
like them making the Riddler the first villain in that movie was genius because the Riddler is all about being detective work
mhm,
compared to like like
mhm,
a Joker or whatever that's more just in your
mhm.
face. He wants you to go after him.
And to that point, I mean, the Riddler is definitely number one choice for that type of dynamic. But going back to Christopher Nolan's Batman, I mean, I would argue that same thought process with the first movie with Scarecrow. I think like he would
Oh,
probably be
actually,
number two.
well, Scarecrow wasn't the main villain in that movie. It was actually Ra's al
Oh,
Ghul.
Ra's al Ghul, yeah, I understand that, but it, what I'm getting at is it still had that detective
Oh yeah, I agree.
model to it.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean it was Ra's al Ghul. So yeah, like I think too with at least uh, it set the standard for Batman
It definitely did. It raised the
because
bar, and
the
because
cinematography got better as the Affleck and Pattinson one came out. Now, granted, you could argue that's probably going to happen anyway with the way cameras got better and all that shit, um, but it did. It set the standard, and you got to go there and you got to go higher. Now, everybody could argue whether the other ones have gone. I wouldn't say that. Can I argue they're kind of even equilibrium? Probably didn't make that argument, but no, they're damn good. They're damn good.
so another question is like obviously out of all the like the live action Batmans, like what's his name? God, what's his name? He played with Arnold, Jim Carrey.
Kilmer,
Huh?
Val Kilmer. No,
No.
that wasn't Val Kilmer. That was
Uh, what's his
uh
name? Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton. No, was that?
I think Michael Keaton was the Batman with Danny DeVito and all them. I know.
I get them mixed up.
I know. Adam West, or was it Adam West? Was the first one?
Adam West. Yeah, that was OG 70s, 60s, whatever era that was.
I think
Like I
Michael
remember
Keaton was the
watching it.
second one though. Let me see. I'm gonna look it up right now because people are saying like all the Batmans, like which one is people's favorites. People often say Michael Keaton. I've watched
Mhm.
his Batmans, and I think if you're going like old TV show like the cartoons and the comic books, I think Michael Keaton's Batman and their villains played more of that like cartoon like aspect,
Mhm.
which I think I can understand what people like. But he wouldn't be my favorite Batman. I think my favorite Batman it would be a toss up between either Christian Bale or Robert Patterson because detective meets brute force and fighting. But I definitely know my favorite villains. I definitely down with Batman 2019, or was it 2019 or 2020? When did Robert
Oh,
Patterson's Batman come out?
dude, that was this year.
Oh, was it this
Wasn't
year?
was it like January?
Well, I'll say that Christopher Nolan's and whatever this new Batman is, they're tied as my favorite villains. Who would you be? Who is your favorite Batman? Why are they your favorite Batman? And also, who had the best villains in the Batman live action um, movies?
Oh man. Favorite Batman? Shit. Um, man, just for Batman as Batman.
He was Michael Keaton was Batman.
No, I know Michael Keaton was Batman, but Michael, who came first, Keaton or Kilmer?
Was Val Kilmer Batman?
Yeah.
Maybe Val Kilmer was. Well, most likely Val Kilmer probably came before Michael Keaton. But if Val Kilmer was Batman, was he only the TV show Batman?
No, I think it was in the movie. memory serves me correctly.
Oh, hold on. Val Kilmer is definitely with Jim Carrey. That was 1995. So did Michael Keaton really play Batman
He's,
before Val Kilmer?
so he was the OG then.
Well, I think Adam West was the OG. Michael Keaton was
Well,
second.
I mean, as far as movies are concerned, because Adam
Yeah,
West did. Well, actually, I take it back. They probably did have like movie-esque length episodes back then. So I
yeah.
just don't vividly recall it. But God,
Man, now that I
I
think
feel
about it, I didn't
bad.
even have Val Kilmer on my list. Like that, I think I seen his movie because I remember Jim Carrey and Arnold, being Frost, and that's his Batman. But I didn't remember that Batman being any good.
Man, like it's such a tough question because it's like I said, every Batman's had their own. I mean, Batman has a persona or personas, but like the way it's been brought to you in a movie, they've been different, right?
Oh yeah, they
So
definitely
it's
have been
kind of
different.
like okay, which one do you gravitate toward? Like I said, Pattinson obviously was more of a detective Batman. Like, detectives are thing, you're probably gonna lean that way. I like a lot of them.
Which one would you say
Like
is your personal preference on your favorite? Because I know mine is definitely Christian Bale tied with Robert Pattinson because brute force detective. Second might be Ben Affleck because I really like his Bruce Wayne. His Batman is okay, and
I'm
then third,
I'm
fourth
gonna
would be Michael Keaton.
I'm gonna go with Bale, but here's why. And it's not really just him, but it falls under the whole package. I think you also not only did you get like uh you know Batman version, Bruce Wayne version, but you also got the pre-Batman version, right? You got the I'm training to become Batman version. That I don't, if memory serves me correct, I don't think you got that with any of the other ones at all. Did it happen with Affleck a little bit? I don't.
No, so far the only ones that we're trending up to has been Robert Pattinson. Well, Bale's version, you definitely see him like lose his parents, go to the League of Shadows, and then that's how he becomes
Yeah,
that. But
yeah.
then
And
Robert
like
Pattinson
I
is like day one. That's when he becomes Batman. He's learning.
yeah, but but Batman Begins shows him go through the League of Shadows, which I enjoyed a lot. Like it was a very good origin to it. So I think that's why I'm gonna lean towards Christian Bale
Okay.
because there's more layers to Batman. I think you got the most layers with him.
Yes. And see, I think my only negative criticism for the Christopher Nolan Batman is because you do get layers, but he glossed over one of the most important layers. Like, so we all know, like, obviously Batman Begins is his starting out point, how he starts. He did a great job learning how to, manage things. Then you got The Dark Knight, which obviously is like the peak of Batman. He deals with the villains. He knows what he's doing, and then Joker, the ultimate villain, comes into play. But
Mhm.
the third one is where it falls. Even though the third one is great in my opinion, they have that 10, 15 year gap where Batman decides to retire because he was crushed. His soul was, messed up because of his girlfriend dying or whatever, and Harvey Dent, he has to play the bad guy because Harvey Dent took over. Um and then also he's crippled in that movie a little bit because his knee doesn't work because it's all bummed out and he had to fix himself. I feel like they didn't show enough of his redemption arc coming back to versus Bane, and that was a big part for a lot, like especially the animated series and the video games, is Batman's return after his peak because it was a huge struggle for him. And I know they kind of touched a little bit on that when he's in the prison because he has to retrain himself, get himself into the right mindset, and then he has to like also find that fortitude like he has before because before he was about protecting, and then the
He
third
returned
movie he was
after League
like,
of Shadows, right? Didn't they kind of
well, in the
kill
in
him?
the third one, he didn't return to League of Shadows. He had to go through his memories of why he did things. Like when he
Mm,
was in the prison, he had to strengthen his back because Bane broke it, and he had to
mm,
retrain his body to be strong again. But then mentality-wise, he had to go from, he originally he was all about protecting, helping those, and then the third one he went from wasn't protecting, he just wanted to die.
mhm.
And I feel
No,
like they could have touched more on that, like bringing him back arc.
yeah, no, I'm with you. I mean, but filming a movie, it's like, okay, where are you gonna, no one had to make those decisions. Obviously, where are we gonna devote more time? Like, it actually makes me wonder that now that you bring all that up, like, I've never sat down for any of these three films to watch any, if any, like director's cut exists, right? Like what additional footage might be out there that maybe adds to that and gives you that void that you so to consume.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Actually, I seen that the Ultimate Edition for 4K, all three Batmans, is out, and I'm like, I should buy it because it's only $20. But I don't think
Oh,
there is a director's cut.
okay, yeah. So I mean, like I said, I don't know, like not like Zack Snyder's Batman where it was drastically different,
Oh, and that
and
wasn't just drastically different. The whole story changed.
exactly. I
Like
mean,
it,
it's
it,
just like
it wasn't even.
it was a whole new fucking movie.
Yeah,
But it was for the better. Like it was so much better.
yeah. Them
Um.
not including Darkseid in the original, it was the stupidest idea because Darkseid is leading up to the main bad guy.
So but but yeah, but like in all honesty, okay. So I answered your Batman question. What was the one after that? Oh, you
So
said villain. Villain.
yeah,
No.
because as much as I
Ah.
want to say, as
So
much as I'm sorry, go ahead.
did you want to ask first or?
Yeah, because I was gonna say,
Okay.
I feel like a lot of people gravitate towards the Joker, Heath Ledger's Joker, because his performance was fantastic,
Performance was fantastic.
and I really like the Riddler, and they're obviously in my top three. But I kind of like Lex Luthor from the or Batman vs Superman because he didn't play like the traditional bad guy where he's the main dude. He pits two superheroes against each other, not like that mental manipulation he had.
That's a good choice, and it's funny because I remember when he was first casted, it got shit on,
Mm.
and I'm like okay, is it the perfect casting? Probably not, but much like if memory serves me correct, I think even when Heath Ledger got casted, it got shit on,
Yeah, oh yeah, people did not
and
like Heath Ledger until his actual performance, and it just like completely cemented him as a great
ex-
actor.
exactly, and I reverted back to that, and I'm like, okay, this is probably another one of those situations where it's getting shit on, but like, let it play out. Same thing with Pattinson. Happened with his casting. I told myself, let it play out, and he did fucking great. So my answer is actually going to be the Riddler from Pattinson's movie because that dude did fucking fantastic. And the scariest thing about it is the real life connection that they did with that movie as to how realistically that can happen and has happened and is probably continuing happening. That's what made it, dare I say, the scariest. Um, and oh, it was just done so well, like really so
Well,
well. Like it's almost like a master class type
we're
thing.
also glossing over the reason why the Riddler was so perfect is because of the second villain that was in there, Penguin.
Mm-hmm.
And every all like Penguin or sorry, the Riddler was obviously doing these things, and it almost kind of the every riddle he did almost led to Penguin. That's why Penguin was introduced, and then Penguin almost took the fall, and then his God, what's his name? I forgot what the actual guy's name that played Penguin. He did a full body transformation with
Oh
prosthetics and all that
yeah,
stuff.
Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell.
Well, no,
Yeah,
no, he actually put on a lot of weight too.
I
Like
thought that was all prosthetics. Like he put up like a body
not
thing and face and all that stuff.
no. Go back and read up on that. He put on a lot of weight.
Well, he did a fantastic job because it was a full body transformation that didn't even look like Colin Farrell.
No,
And
it did not.
he did fantastic too in that movie. And like both him and the Riddler like synergized well. Even though they didn't have direct contact with each other, their story arcs blended to make the destruction happen.
Yeah, no, it was done really well, and um, and like that's the thing, right? Like we talk about Pattinson's Batman. It just the way it bounced off each other, like that's what made it work, right? Like if you put a different Batman in Pattinson's place, would have it been that successful? I think Bale's might have worked, but Affleck wouldn't have.
Oh, Affleck definitely would not have worked.
So that's why casting is so pivotal as well. Because you got to get those different acting chops to work in tandem with each other.
So since we know that the new Batman, with Robert Pattinson, he's definitely gonna get more films. I think the second one is dealing with the Court of Owls, which is also another fantastic villain choice for this Robert Pattinson's version, because the Court of Owls is also heavily
Very
detective based.
Yeah. Hmm.
But as this progresses, so like let's say, obviously we don't have the full Robert Pattinson series yet, but if you're gonna compare the new
Batman Begins.
one versus Batman Begins, which one would you prefer?
Ooh, damn! Now that's the good question. If I'm being brutally honest, probably Patterson's.
I think I would say the same thing too. And
Like, it
that,
gets the edge, but because Nolan has a trilogy done as a Batman whole, like it gets the edge.
yeah,
But yeah, no, 1 for 1, and I think I put that on a social media post too. By the way, I think I put that like this is going to be a popular opinion, but damn, I think it's like takes a slight edge over Batman Begins. Like I believe I put that out there.
yeah, because obviously Christopher, like we both said, Christopher Nolan is still peak for me, seems peak for you right now. But it seems like this new series or trilogy or whatever they do might knock that out, might knock it down to second place, because if they do Court of Owls, which a lot of stories doesn't really involve the Court of Owls much, and not even the games do it.
I mean, well, this recent one is has a Court of Owls in it.
Arkham Knights.
The Gotham Knights.
Oh yeah, Gotham Knights. Yeah, you're right.
I believe it's heavily. I think it's centralized with the Court of Owls.
And they're like the best villains leading up to the sequel, and I don't know what a third villain would be. Maybe because I heard Mr. Freeze might be in the second one too. I heard the Court of Owls is gonna be there. I heard Poison Ivy might be there because Catwoman's in the first one, and I heard Frost is gonna be in the second one as well. So it's gonna be like a trifecta. Like Court of Owls is gonna be like the main villains, and Ivy and Frost are gonna be like sub villains.
If that is factual,
I don't know if it's factual. This is just rumors.
No. That's an if it is. I'm not saying that it is because I don't know. I don't know at all. This is all rumorville. I feel like that's too many villains.
Yes.
Especially if the approach is a detective Batman. Like we've seen him in action. It's not that he sucked in action, but he's not that type of Batman, or the portrayal is not that type of Batman.
Actually, I want to say you're wrong there, only because when he versed the thugs, it felt brutal. Like he knocked one of the thugs out so bad, like he just kept on bashing his face until he was gone.
I know, but they were also thugs. Like now you're talking about the real villains. But once again, you look at Scarecrow, they weren't going to fight either. Joker, same thing. They weren't going to fight either. It was just really Bane was the only one that was a big muscle guy.
And they did a really good fight.
Exactly. But maybe I was just still so in tune of 70s Batman and cartoon Batmans where there's a lot more fighting. But like, I don't know. I just feel like for the way they've already portrayed this Batman, like it's been heavily detective. So.
Well, Frost would make a perfect sense because Frost isn't really a bad guy. He does bad things, but not because he's evil. He does it because he wants to save his wife that's dying or dead.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because that's the whole reason why he's Frost is because he put his wife in cryo freeze. And then at the same time, while he was trying to look for a way to preserve her and keep her living, he had an accident that made him in Frost mode. And then now he's trying to find a way back. And that's what causes him to do crime because obviously he doesn't have money to pay for it. And that also leads up to detective work to see why he's doing it, what he does, and leads up to thing. And same Poison Ivy is also the same thing too. She's not really physically confrontational. She's more of laying traps for you to get past.
Like I said, we'll see. I'm making no judgment. I just feel, at a glance, too many villains.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm always down for more Batman.
Now, who would you cast as Frost or Poison? Well, obviously we don't know. I'm gonna say Frost is more likely to be in the second one with the Court of Owls and Ivy is. But who would you choose for the Court of Owls? Because that one's kind of hard to put a face to because there's multiple people in that. It's more like politicians. But who would you put there, and then who would you put as Frost?
Man, I ain't
Because I
got
thought about it and I
any.
couldn't think of it.
I ain't got any guesses. Well, who was that? I can't think of the dude's name, but he was in that. Was it iRobot show?
It was a movie. Which are you talking about? Will
No, no,
Smith?
no, no. Oh no, not iRobot. What the fuck am I talking about? I'm trying to think of the guy's name. But there's certain actors that have like robotic looks to them and robotic movements. I just can't think of their names. I could see them visually in my head.
For me, Mr. Frost, if I was going to choose somebody, it would be God, what's his name? For some reason the only name that pops up is Kylo Ren. The guy that played
Oh,
that that guy.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I feel like he could play a good Frost because he's got the emotionality. Like if he had his
Yeah,
wife freeze, he could probably turn into that.
that
Dreyfus,
would be a
no,
bad one.
Richard Drive, something Driver. Let me look this up. I
Mm,
need to know his name.
yeah, I'm not too sure.
Cast of Star Wars Awakening. I couldn't remember. Oh, Force Awakens. I don't know why I had it wrong. His name Adam Driver. I knew it was Driver something. Adam Driver. That's his name.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, I think he would be a good one for sure.
But the Court of Owls, man, I don't know who would be those people because the Court of Owls doesn't necessarily have just one face, right? It's just like a whole bunch of faces. Like they're basically politicians of Gotham that are holding it down.
Yeah, they all wear like those freaking masquerade masks, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I'm just trying to think of
yeah,
like who would be like the central, like the head figure of the court to like really give it a face, but I'm having a hard time picturing that.
Liam Neeson. No, he was.
I will find you and I will kill you. I have a specific set of skills.
Hey, you look familiar. Yeah, I don't know. Um, what about? Wasn't there also rumors circulating on them trying to, or maybe potentially using Joaquin Phoenix's Joker?
See, that's the
Or is that just like a
I
fan
think that's a
fantasy?
fan thing because they already have a Joker in the Robert Pattinson's version. We didn't see his face, but we know he's laughing and it's not Joaquin Phoenix. And
Mm-hmm.
the thing is that, the what's his name? Todd Phillips, is that the guy that directed the first Joker?
Yes.
He said that it's not connected to that series at all.
Okay.
So if they did, that'd be shocking. But also, I don't know how well that would tie into Robert Pattinson's version because Todd Phillips' Joker is more of just watching civilization, telling the story of civilization, how it decays, how people get run over. But his Joker doesn't seem like a true villain that can compete with Batman. Like, he just seems like a guy that's just unstable, that's it. Like, he's not Heath Ledger where he's orchestrating crime. But
I
of
think
course,
he's
I could be
evolved
wrong
to
with the
it.
second one.
Yeah, I mean, he could always evolve to it. So. But
Yeah.
like that movie was supposed to be, and it was like an origin type story. So,
Hmm.
um, shit. What was I just gonna say? What about what? I think these were also rumors, but I can't remember from what. But the guy that played Joker in the Gotham show.
Oh, yeah. Well, that I would actually like to see him because he did a great job in that show. Because, um, actually, if they could portray his Joker, that'd be perfect. Because he isn't just one Joker. He started the Joker thing off, and then he dies in that show. Spoiler: it's an old show. And then somebody else takes over as a second Joker. Like, and that would be the perfect way to keep the Joker going. That you can always switch out actors. Because in the shows, like the animated shows, there wasn't always one Joker. It would always evolve into being another Joker because somebody would copycat him and do something else. So I think he'd be a great introduction to one Joker to lead into a second Joker.
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool.
I
I mean, it
forgot
doesn't
his
seem
name
like
because I know in the show his name is Jared, right?
like when it's the guy that plays it, right?
No,
No,
that's
I
not
thought it
him.
was.
No,
No.
I could
Oh.
look it up. That's definitely not him.
Oh, okay.
He plays in. I haven't watched the show, but I know he's in it. Uh, oh god, it's one of those famous shows.
He was in was he also in the movie some movie with Jennifer Aniston?
No, that's not him either.
That's not him?
You're talking
Oh, I
about
might be,
you're talking
I'm
about
getting,
the Millers.
Yeah.
That's not
That's
him.
not him either? Ah,
No.
shit, I thought it was the same fucking person.
I'm looking right now. I'm trying to figure his name because his name is. Oh, Theo Gavin can be the main face for the Court of Owls. That's who I was thinking. Now I'm trying to figure out who the heck. Oh, Cameron Monaghan. It's this guy. His name was Jerome. But yeah, that definitely. If you people are seeing
Oh, okay, okay, yeah, yeah, no.
video, I'm putting it up right
Yeah.
now. But his name is Cameron Monaghan, and he played Jerome that turned into the Joker in the Gotham series. He did a good job.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Yeah,
figure out what the second show
I
is.
never finished the Gotham show, and I like to. I watched a lot of it though, and I did like it.
Yeah, I actually need to watch it again because I think I've stopped like season 5 or 6 because of whatever reason. But the show that I was thinking about that he's in is Shameless. I also found that out too. I didn't watch Shameless. I just know he's in there, and that's a popular show.
Yeah, no, it is. I've never watched it myself.
But I think he'd
And
be
we got
good
a
for
lot of
Robert
movie,
Pattinson.
like,
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
oh, I said they filmed some of that in where we stay. So.
Well, Shameless is in Chicago.
That's why I say it. I feel
They didn't just film some of it; they filmed all of it, or filmed all of it in Chicago.
no. Some of it they should film in a Hollywood studio.
No, did they?
Oh yeah.
But who would you like to see? Like, if you were to make your second Robert Pattinson version, obviously we already talked about the Court of Owls being the second villain. Who would you choose as your villain and why?
Let's see. I mean, I think they really try to avoid, um, going to a villain that was recently used. So I don't think they would do Scarecrow, but I think a Scarecrow one kind of still makes sense. Um, we're kind of a little bit talking about this with Nightwing. I feel like they should
Calendar
use
Man.
like. Well, I don't really know much about him, but they should use someone that is more like someone Riddler-esque, where they're gonna try to mind fuck you.
Well, see, this is the thing: is I don't know if I'm actually saying his name right. I think his
Mhm.
name is Taskmaster. He's basically like somebody that controls puppets and technology.
Okay.
And I know that there's like a Marvel version as well. I think they call him. Actually, I think he might actually be called Taskmaster in that too. But there's a guy that controls puppets and technology in the DC thing, and he isn't necessarily Batman's villain, but he's more Robin's villain.
Mm.
And I'd like to see him be in Robert Pattinson's version because I think his version is creepy and can also be done well as like the Riddler. Because he just lays traps, you have to solve them and fight him. Or no, not fight him, but like find them because he's always likes to hide and put people in front of him to use instead of him being the one himself. Or they can go with the Brotherhood of Evil, which I forgot the guy's name is, but he has like psychic powers. He controls people and sends them out.
Do you think? Well, I guess to answer your question, I don't know. I just feel like that we need. I mean, you've been naming some villains that aren't like mainstay, popular Batman villains over the course of time. So I feel like we need something like that, like someone that's not as popular and historically, like with animes and everything.
I got it wrong. It's not the Brotherhood of Evil. His name is Brother Blood.
Brother Blood is. Yeah, I don't even think I've heard of that. But the other thing that I feel is interesting because they used Catwoman a couple of times, but would they ever try using a Robin again?
I hope they don't do a little boy Robin. That'd be creepy.
No, I don't think they could do a little boy. But like, because they hinted it at the end of the Nolan trilogy, right?
Yeah, where the cop turns into Robin.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, come on, you're gonna tease us like that. But I wonder if we'll ever get that again, or they're just purposely avoiding because they feel like that's going to be a downfall of Batman. I don't know.
I would like to.
Thing that makes me wonder.
I would like to see it lead up because I would with Gotham Knight and seeing what's her name? What's Batgirl's name? Something Gordon. I forgot what her name is. Something Gordon. It's Detective Gordon's daughter. That's what she is.
Yeah, I can't remember. I know we did talk about it in one of the last podcasts.
Well, I would like
Mhm.
to see her and Robert Pattinson because I feel like they could interchange her out with Catwoman as being like the kind of love interest, and then make her into Batgirl. Um, I hope they don't do a young Robin, but if they do, I hope they do a Robin where he turns into the Red Hood or Nightwing himself.
Yeah, I think it would have to be one of the turns. Like it can't just be a true and true Robin.
Yeah, because it'd be hard because even though Robert Pattinson's like what 30, 40 years old, he still looks relatively young, and it would be hard to cast another Robin that's supposed to be younger than this Batman that already looks young.
I
So
mean, you say it'd be hard, but it probably would. Because a lot of I mean, that's just so consistent in Hollywood, just finding people our age to play fucking 16-year-olds.
yeah, but it would just be, I don't know. But I would like to see it. I just don't want to see a young Robin. I just want to see a Robin that's already like established that turns into Red Hood or Nightwing. Because
Yeah,
I feel like having Batman have a companion that's equal to his strength that can help him out would be cooler than him actually mentoring someone.
yeah, no, for sure. I concur with that assessment. Um, yeah, but
Actually,
Christopher Nolan,
now that you mentioned, I totally forgot they have a three-phase thing. So Robert Pattinson's Batman isn't a standalone. I totally forgot about that. It's connected with Ben Affleck's Batman, and it's also connected with Michael Keaton's Batman. So they're having three different eras. Robert Pattinson is the young Batman. Ben Affleck is the current Batman, and then Michael Keaton. They're going to make another Batman with him as him being the old Batman, the one that's retiring, aging out, and he's going to leave. Obviously Batgirl, Robin, and all this stuff to take over for him. I totally forgot that's a plan. They're having three different eras of Batman, so they can have past, present, and future all playing at the same time, so you can see his full story arc happen.
is that supposed to be like? I mean, not canon, but like how I've never heard this.
No,
Like,
I know for a fact it's true
is
because
this like
Michael
a
Michael
fan
Keaton is one.
theory?
No. Michael Keaton is returning for as Batman. He's gonna be playing old Batman. Ben Affleck is still current Batman. The main Batman for like the Justice League and all that stuff. That will never change. And Robert Pattinson was only supposed to lead up to Ben Affleck's Batman, while Ben Affleck's Batman is leading up to Michael Keaton's Batman. That's
I don't
that's how
know.
that's how that no seriously that's how the original DC story was pitched after Justice League. I just remember that now because I'm like, how does Michael Keaton's return play into this? And I forgot that they're trying to do all three
I,
arcs at the same time.
I remember reading the rumors about the Michael Keaton part, but I didn't read into this big, extravagant, lavish. Oh, we're gonna put this all together stuff.
Well, they're trying because of Marvel. That's why they're trying. If they succeed, I have no idea. These were just projects that were planned because I don't think Michael Keaton even filmed his Batman yet.
No, I don't. Well, unless it's really good secret, which I think it would kind of have to be at this point, because a lot of people are predicting or something or theorizing. Because I did read that, but like I just didn't put no stock into it. I just took it mostly as straight fan theories, like people want to nerd and just all over.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they're fan
Which is
theories
fine,
because the
which
actual
is fine.
studios talked about this.
Okay.
Um, will it come to fruition? I don't know how because it'd be kind of weird seeing all three timelines play out at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe they have to do it because they're playing catch up with Marvel because Marvel's already on Phase 5. They've already established 20 something movies, while TC's only got a couple.
I got a handful, but like it's kind of a shame though because like you look at like Jason Momoa as Aquaman. Like I still haven't watched Aquaman yet, but like I think that's like a fucking fantastic casting.
Oh, dude,
Um,
you haven't watched it yet?
no,
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll have to like get late bar the movie or something because it's great, especially
yeah,
the underwater war. I wasn't expecting it to be as expansive war wise as it was. I thought it was gonna be focused around him, but it turns into like a full journey movie,
mm-hmm.
which I didn't think that was gonna happen with him, but they really fleshed him out.
Kind of
Um,
like almost a Batman Begins. Then.
I think a little bit more fleshed out than that.
Hmm.
But you're right. That's a good one. Black Adam. I haven't seen it yet, but from what I was
Haven't seen
told,
it.
it's pretty good. And they're also introducing
And
Doctor Fate in that movie.
and to your point about expanding on the universe, I think the fact that they got Dwayne Johnson's involvement, I think he himself is actually trying to um, be a catalyst in this universe and wants to expand it.
Well, he always wants to expand everything, but I actually think he's going to be maybe like a couple entries and that's it because the way the Ben Affleck, you know, or sorry, the way the current Justice League is going, it looks like they're following the Injustice story where Batman turns evil, Batman has to fight him and kill him, and half. It's basically like a civil war. Like half the superheroes turn evil, half the superheroes are rebelling against them, and that's when villains become good guys and good guys become bad guys. And I think Black Adam might be one. Well, obviously he's not a good guy; he's an anti-hero, and I think he's gonna side with Batman or clash with him and die. Because I know Shazam, if they're going with the Injustice route, Shazam actually gets killed by Batman. Which I would love to see in a DC movie because in the animated versions, Superman takes the kid because Shazam's a kid, and he melts his face before he can transform. Like he kills a teenager because Shazam is like the only one that could truly rival Superman in power, and that's why he kills him as a kid so he can't transform.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to see them up their game for sure. But only time will tell. They're definitely slow.
Yeah, but I guess to wrap this up and move forward, so we're saying Christopher Nolan is still top tier. People that say it's bad, I think, are just doing it because they're hipsters. I'm saying that myself.
I would concur with that assessment. They just want to be different.
And Robert Pattinson is a really good contender for potentially overtaking Nolan, depending on how the sequels are. But moving on to that, we have a mass exodus of tech jobs. So we've been talking about this for the last 2 weeks, with Twitter taking over with Elon Musk and him firing 3,000 people. Then also hearing that Facebook has fired 10,000 people from Meta. But now it turns, 11,000 people from Meta. And now Amazon just let go 10,000 people from their stores. And it's not just like distributing. It's from their device, human resources, and something else. But they're basically the tech department. And then not only that, but we also have a huge tech loss in China. So because of rising conflicts, a lot of U.S. chip manufacturers that were in China, printing chips, had to either leave or stay there permanently. And they're also being fired from other Chinese developers. So a lot of tech jobs are being let go right now. And then to an update to Twitter, Elon Musk fired about 3,000 people. And then after that, he decided to change policies, which I don't agree with, that he should have fired 3,000 people. I get that they're pretty far left, but I would have given him an ultimatum saying, let's be fair. If you're going to, correct them, you got to correct this as well. But he decided to let them all go, which was a mistake. But because of that, he gave the remaining Twitter employees an ultimatum. And because of this ultimatum, I think another 1,000 people left as well. And now the Twitter headquarters are actually locked down because they're afraid of people sabotaging. But it's just weird that all these major, social media tech companies are having just massive layoffs all around.
Yeah, so like right now, Twitter's in the spotlight because they are in the spotlight, but yet there is a coincidence that is happening in
on
other.
Twitter.
Huh?
Oh, I thought you were saying they're talking about the death of Twitter on Twitter. I thought that's what you're gonna say.
Oh no, well yeah, that part's funny too. No, but you're saying that Twitter has its own problems. That's kind of shooting themselves in the leg type problems, but nonetheless, you're saying that there's tech jobs being lost across a lot of other major companies as well. I don't, man, I don't know what to say. I think every company probably has obviously their own reasons. I don't know what they are, and when it comes to these type of things, you just, it's one of those things like that you think like the truth will never come out. One thing that I don't come from a tech company, but one thing that is true, and I think it's kind of true across all jobs, not just tech jobs, is companies want to cut their workforce and I guess in some you could say force their employees to work twice as harder for the same amount of pay. And it just happens everywhere. It sucks, and then dare I say, I don't want to really talk about me, but I don't know what to say. Like I like, what are the reasons? Like, I mean, like, what do you hear other reasons? Because like blindly, I feel like what's going on. Like, what is the common denominator here as to why is it
So
happening across? Like, is it maybe that they're getting so damn good at their jobs of writing codes that they're like, oh well, the machines and computers could take over now. We don't need y'all. Like, I mean, what is it?
I
You
think
know what
it's
I'm
I
saying?
think it's three things. One, obviously, with tech jobs, a lot of it can become autonomous. Usually, you just need source coders to create algorithms that can build themselves and all that stuff. And then
Exactly.
once you have a
Right.
code, you just need a few people to build upon that code.
Exactly.
Which Facebook has proven multiple times over. That's all you need. Twitter right now, people are right now the major thing is RIP Twitter and all that stuff. Even though Twitter has a lot of people being fired right now, and they're on lockdown, there's also a huge abundance of other people that are willing to work for Twitter easily. So I'm
Yes.
not worried about Twitter going down.
Exactly.
But Twitter is mostly one, a purge and an ego cleanse. That's why Twitter's in their suffering thing. Facebook, it's a it's a finance issue because Facebook spent a lot of money on Meta that turned out to be a massive failure. That's why they let go of 11,000 people. Because when I say that Facebook let go of 11,000 people, it wasn't throughout all departments, like the social media department. It was just the Meta department. The digital marketing plus this thing they have. They let them go.
Mhm.
Amazon, this one I didn't get a chance to see too much on because obviously I want to chalk it up to a lot of, you know, distributing issues because of supply chain and all that stuff, and then also them Amazon spending a lot of money on other projects like media entertainment, and also becoming a not just a shipping but a distributor themselves by making their own products. I think they brought too much on. And you can also see it trickling into Twitch too. That's why they're purposely charging or purposely forcing you to do ads multiple times. I think that's why they're doing it, just because they expanded too quickly. They didn't have money to cover it. Now they're letting people go. So because of whatever reasons. But I know the China chip issue is because of government conflict. Because I'm not sure if you know this, but China, Russia, and all that stuff, Brazil, they have an organization called BRICS. It's basically like opposite NATO or UN. And because of the conflict with Ukraine and Russia, and then also potentially leading into the NATO conflict, China is backing Russia up. So that's why U.S. and China relationships are strained. That's why the president issued a thing where it's either you stay there and you lose your citizenship, or you come back and get a job here. And
Mm.
then also China is firing Americans too because they want to employ their own people instead of Americans. So that's why we're having a mass issue of chip stuff as well, on top of what's already been going on with supply issues. But I think it's just political ego for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, it's all like, I mean, my initial tie-in or relation to this is like I said, yeah, it's like CEO issues where you just cut into cut, save, or even just level budgeting that screwed up with other ventures. But I mean, I don't know. I'm not really trying to blindly defend them, but sometimes they got to explore other ventures, right? And if they fail, well, here's the result of failing other ventures. If they didn't fail, then they grow larger and they're able to hire more people. Um, it's just shitty. I mean, that's a lot of different lives changing.
But I think
I
this.
think
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I think the Twitter ones are the most um, that fiasco going in and out. I feel like there's quick rebound there both ways. Like the Twitter people that are you know, uh, dare I say the word admirably, but keeping their morale and leaving, getting up and leaving. They probably got another job lined up. And to your point, there's people ready and willing to walk right in and start working for Twitter. So there is no loss there. Um, the other ones I'm not too sure about because the Facebook one you just said, like, they pretty much let off an entire
Division.
department,
Yeah.
division, whole venture gone down, pretty much bankrupt in some sense of the word. So that's lost. China one is the scary one.
Yeah, it
I
is.
feel like that one could lead to that could have a huge ripple effect.
Especially because most of the chips worldwide, not just our chips, like everybody's chips, comes from China.
Mm-hmm.
And that just stems from computers to medical supplies to phones and all that stuff. Like a lot of
Cars, everything.
yeah. So this is a big issue, and I think technology, especially for Americans and also other people that are not aligned with BRICS, is probably going to shoot up in price because resources were already running scarce because of supply issues, but because of China controlling the chips currently, it's probably going to raise the prices of our technology drastically. Like we're probably going to see like how like right now you could buy TVs for like 16-inch TVs for like $400. I think it's going to shoot back up to $10,000 again. And also, I think MRI's computer like what's it called? Basically, medical equipment is also going to become a shortage issue. Which, unfortunately, if something breaks down at a hospital, it might take even longer for them to get a replacement, which also could lead up to more health issues coming soon.
I wish I could piggyback on that because you know where I work,
Yeah,
but I'm not going to.
yeah. Well, obviously, you legally can't too.
Exactly. So,
But as like a citizen,
well,
like obviously I can only spectate, but I'm assuming it takes quite a bit of time to like get an MRI machine and replace it with another MRI machine because that's not something you can just buy at like a Target or whatever. You have to like legit get it from a company that built it from scratch.
like I said, we'd love to talk about this because it's in my wheelhouse, so to speak. But I can't.
Yeah.
Um, um, but everything you are saying is true. Um, it's interesting. It's
So
interesting.
I guess another thing we could talk about because obviously you can't say because of legal issues. But this also puts into perspective that people always in at least the last 20 years, people always glamored tech because there was less work to do, it was more mental, and people were always striving for that field anyways because you get good pay and people thought you had job security. Obviously now it's proving that you really don't have job security. There's just an overabundance of these people that people are just interchangeable so quickly. And I think because of these mass tech losses, people are going to start looking at other fields, more labor fields now, which we've been having a shortage of for the last 15, 10 years. And people are now going to just transition from tech to physical laborers like bricklayers, masons, engineers, and all that stuff because of this job insecurity that's not coming because of abundance.
I don't want to say I hope that happens. Um, but you got to remember all those people that were in those positions in their own right also have egos, right? So like,
Oh, very much.
will there be a percentage of them that go that route? I think they'll be forced to, right? Those that probably have families, they got to put food on the table. They need something. They have to do something. They may go that route. But there's going to be a census that doesn't and hold out. They'll find something else or what have you. But the other part to this issue that um, I mean, it's the same dilemma that kind of started at the start of the pandemic as well. But this is a more of a technological supply chain issue versus a raw material type issue. Um, and where I feel like as a country we shot ourselves in the foot. Well, not really as a country. A lot of the CEOs, for that matter, by shipping their companies to other countries for cheap labor. Now, as a country, we're hurting because we don't have those same factories and those same manufacturers, and that's where we're going to hurt ourselves.
I'm trying not to say his name because there's a certain guy that might be orange that was trying really hard. Like obviously we were self-sustained in oil, and he realized that's why he redid the NAFTA agreements because he realized that we had to be as a country we need to be able to work well with ourselves and the people around us. So that's why we need to have better trade relations with Canada and Mexico.
You're right, but that same named orange guy, there's other things he did, and we're not going to get in this, but we could talk offline about it. You're right, but there's other things he did that also assists with still shooting the country in the foot. like there's good intentions, and now you may go, now we're discussing this, right? Where you're like, oh shit, those are the reasons why they need to be done. But it still wasn't a full thought out project or plan,
Well,
because
do you want to
there was
elaborate?
still,
Because I'm trying to, because the North America agreement between or I should say the remodeling of the NAFTA agreement was we create, distribute, and sell in between these three countries: Canada, U.S., and Mexico. And we were not going to become as reliant on China for supply, food, and tech. We were going to make it ourselves. Just like, for example, cars, we would make all our car parts here, or Canada would make our car parts, and we'll trade and sell with each other. What are you saying was the opposite effect here? Because I don't think I'm remembering.
I would just like to talk about that offline.
Well, you don't have to be like. You could just tell me like the subject of what was bad, because I can't.
Well, it's really it's really within. Yeah, I would just much rather not even hint about it.
Are you just talking about social issues, not about actual trade business issues?
No, they're acts, they're things signed into law that
If you're
have
talking
to be
about the
abided by.
if you're talking about the medical thing for insulin, that
No, 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 no,
because I was gonna say he did that and it didn't take place until earlier this year.
no, no. It has nothing.
Okay,
It's something different.
all right.
Um,
But yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I think. But going by what you're saying, more self-reliance because us exporting and importing
mm-hmm,
really hurt
mm-hmm.
us
Oh yeah,
because
for sure.
you know I'm sorry. I'm trying to think about what I'm trying to say because we did have like for example Apple. Most of the manufacturing companies used to be in America from like the early 2000s, 2010, but now I think we only have two. I think that's in California and Texas. Right? I could be wrong about that, but I know there's not that many industrial places that still manufacture tech here. I think we
I
just
never I never followed up on that, or I never followed along with that. I should say, not follow even up. So I can't comment on that. It wouldn't surprise me, right? Because that's been the reoccurring thing with a lot of big corporations. Like, yeah, they might start in America and they grow, but then they get to a level where and man, it sounds so bad because now it's like I'm going back to what I'm saying, but it's like we're going back on what I am saying. But at some point, like if you're in the business to make money, I understand it because you got to take your operations elsewhere to make your
yeah, reduce costs equals more profit.
exactly to increase your profit. Now you get people in the world be like, well, who cares about your profit? What about
Moral
paying your
standards.
employees more? Yeah, exactly, moral standards, and it's like that varies on the person. But what can be true, or is true in this case now where we're at, because of that greed, we could be hurting for it.
Mm. Like one thing, like as much as there's issues all around the world, but one thing I have to appreciate about Mexico is they realize the importance of self-reliance oil because of them, they've been making more plastic products. Like I'm not sure if you noticed, but like all your game cases, all whatever you can think of, like shells, hardcovers, iPhone covers, they all come from Mexico now, not from Taiwan or China. They now come from Mexico, which is bringing
No,
a
I
good
haven't
source of
paid
income.
attention. No, I haven't paid attention. So not too.
But going back to tech, it'd be nice to bring stuff here. Like as much as like for example, for people that don't know, most mineral deposits that we go to is actually in Venezuela. That's usually where we get like our cobalt and other stuff. Like is it lithium? I might be getting that name wrong, but usually Venezuela is where we get a lot of our mineral deposits for tech, and China currently controls them mostly. um, but we also have mineral deposits here in America, Mexico, and um, certain parts of Africa that are considered under UN things that would probably get us back into a safe track of making things more affordable, but then also stable at the same time because we haven't been drilling there. Usually it's been Venezuela that we've been drilling at, and that's it. Or mining, I should say.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I think that
Harvesting. Let's call it harvesting.
harvesting. But that'd be one way we could become self-reliant. Obviously, this is other countries, but because these countries are also part of the UN, which is an agreement to help all the countries in the UN, everybody that's under that branch will capitalize because of that if we dig in other areas besides just Venezuela. But
Yeah, it's very interesting, and like I said, it can be scary, depending on how deep you think about it and what could go wrong.
as much as it sucks when anybody loses jobs, because obviously, especially with inflation and I mean, as much as the government doesn't want to say recession, we are entering a recession coming soon. Um, and
I would
anybody
argue in there, but
anybody that loses a job is a hard time. But because of this, it might be a good wake up call because people did glamorize tech for such a long time, and we ignored the essentials that keep things running. Like people forget carpenters are very essential, masons are essential, plumbers are essential, engineers are essential. All those people and those fields were like construction workers. Those were extremely scarce now. But I'm hoping with this mass exodus of jobs and people realizing that tech isn't always. I mean, yes, it's nice, it's good, you get paid a lot of money, but maybe having these other fields open will make more people go there, and we'll finally get that balance of workforce against instead of just being an overabundance in just the tech force.
hmm no, I think helping with that equilibrium would be great. We'll just see how it happens, see what happens.
Yeah, I'm hoping that there's a positive because obviously, things can go bad.
The thing is, like, it's not gonna happen. Like a tech guy that loses a job can't just, I mean, I take that back. Anybody could go do work and get paid under the table, but generally speaking, like, you got to be insured, you got to be bonded, you got to have state licenses,
Well,
depending on your state. Like it's just not a simple like overnight. Like, oh, I'm gonna change and do this. Like that's what I'm saying. What makes it challenge? Like, you're not gonna see all of them just make that transition. Like it's not that simple either.
well, obviously, yeah, you need license and also probably some kind of knowledge in the background. But because tech does usually heavily evolve around math, a lot of those people can easily transition into construction work because of contractors and all that stuff, because they do a lot of math. Obviously, they do a lot of hard labor stuff, but there's a lot of math involved with that labor.
Oh,
Making
for
sure
sure.
quantity control, distribution, angles, and all that stuff, whatever. So I feel like there's a lot of opportunities for people to transition, especially if they want to go, besides, just contractor stuff. They can
Yeah.
also do engineering stuff, like electrical engineering. Because coding and building software, you understand the base concept of how to use that stuff as well. Obviously, you just need to do more labor stuff.
No, I mean, there's zero disagreement that the skill sets aren't transferable. They're very much transferable. It's just that the idea that they would simply go then apply and get said job, unless they're working, like I said, anybody can work on the side and get paid on the table. We live in
Yeah.
that type. I mean, that will never go away. But if you're talking about major projects, whether it's building skyscrapers, hell, even apartments, you you should, some you have to be insured and bonded and all that stuff, show proof of license, all that stuff.
Yeah, and some of them take a lot of
Insurance
licenses.
policies, you could lose your insurance policies. You could do that, like there's things with that. So
Yeah.
but yeah, no, there's a lot of things, like, I mean, even teachers, but then a lot of teachers, well, tend to pick it and say they're not getting paid enough. Which,
Well,
it's probably true.
in a lot of states, they don't get paid enough.
No, yeah, no, I'm not saying that like tongue in cheek, like they don't, but you know,
But I guess it also, like, if we're talking about like the overall job thing, it's also funny too, like depending on what sector you go into, because obviously government sectors pay a lot more. Like, for example, public school teachers. What I'm saying, no, what I'm saying is they pay a more fair amount compared to private places. Obviously, if you got tech stuff, they pay higher. But like,
so
let me just explain what I'm talking about first, because I know it's not always
okay.
100%. Because like
Yeah.
when you're saying teachers, like public school teachers get paid more than private school teachers, a lot better. Like, for example, I know, well, I'm not gonna say names, but in Chicago at least, public school teachers make close to about maybe $60,000 a year. Obviously, depending if they do high school and college, you get paid way more, especially if you're a principal.
Yeah, college is a different level.
But if you're a private school, you only get 40,000.
What? Okay.
So that's like a $20,000 difference.
Really, that man. What's the difference between a private school and a suburb school? I kind of always put them
realistically the same, but the reason,
so with that said, I'm pretty sure since we're actually name dropping here, I'm pretty sure like a teacher in Naperville gets paid more than a CPS teacher.
Well, they also probably have a so okay. So usually public schools get paid by the government and also by how many kids are in the school. Private school, they don't rely on the government to give them money. They rely on tuition to pay their salaries. That's why they get paid less. That's why
No,
usually when you go to a Catholic school, the tuition's like $10,000 per student every year, compared to going to a public school where you don't have any tuition really. Because
but you're saying that
private
public
school,
school teachers get paid more than a suburb school.
most of the time, yes. Obviously, it depends on how many people are there because school districts do get paid on how many. Like if you're a public school, a school district definitely gets paid by how many students are in that building. Like that. That's how they look at it. They look at numbers.
I can't. I think to your point, it definitely does depend on where that private school is located. I just feel like throughout Naperville, very not super rich, but it's up there on the scale of things. I think it's rated like one of the top 3 places in America to like raise your kid or something. So
Is it really?
No, it is. It's like top 10 or something. But it's funny because it just came up in some other conversation I was in like a week ago, and I'm pretty sure all those teachers get paid more than the CPS. But
okay, maybe. Well, maybe if we're talking about like other private ones, maybe I don't know. But I know for Chicago public school teachers usually get paid better than most private schools in our area. Like
I'm sure like geographic location plays on everything for sure. Like I mean, we could sit here and talk about all the different suburbs that are low income, and you're right, those teachers probably don't.
Because I know like in Maryland, I had a friend there that works there. Their public school teachers don't get paid $60,000; they get paid closer to like $40,000, which is another $20,000 difference compared to Chicago public school teachers. Just like some charter school or private schools get paid $38,000 or $60,000 depending on what their tuition is.
I can't name drop anybody, and it's like nobody that is connection with me, and this could be all hearsay. But I heard like a Naperville high school teacher got like 120K. I was like, what?
It's very possible. Like I know.
I was like, what? Like, no wrong field.
Like I know 10-year professors at colleges make a lot of money.
Like I mean, and I don't say this to degrade. I don't, but like, honestly, I look back at like the schedule. It's like, man, you get the summer vacation. Like, I mean, it's not a full vacation. Like, you still do work, but like realistically, you're off. Like, you're gonna. Well, dare I say, if you're a good teacher.
Well, are you talking about a 3-month break for summer?
You're gonna plan for the following year, and you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that, or maybe you're gonna do summer school programs. Like, because I don't know how all those dynamics work, but nonetheless, like their schedule is pretty nice. Like
Yeah, but they don't get paid for that time off though. Like that 3-month break for summer.
I understand
like they usually get their lump sum at the end, and they got to make that money count for 3 months.
I understand, but like once again, going back to like certain, suburbs, like it can be very lucrative.
Oh yeah, very. Like college professors, they make a lot of money.
Oh yeah, college professors is a whole nother. I mean, that's like saying, college level versus professional level sports. Like it's like that difference. It's like nah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, like we'll see. We'll see if this has a ripple effect to the jobbing market. Like I don't know, I don't follow it as detailed, like as far as like which sectors are hurting more than others and which ones have more turnaround. But if it's that drastic where it could level certain things, it may be good.
Because like because I know it's not just like obviously I'm talking about tech here because that was a topic, but I know other job fields, like especially like the fast food industry, because the fast food industry was not meant to be a full-time job. It was meant to be for younger people starting up, get experience, and move on. But because people are using that as a career path, they're raising minimum wage and all that stuff, and because of that, like New York, for example, I think they just raised the minimum wage. It's either I'm just shooting random numbers because it's either $15 or $18. I can't remember which one it was. But when they did raise the minimum wage for these fast food businesses, which I think there should be a classification between like a chain business like McDonald's versus a mom and pop shop, because that makes a big difference.
Yes, it does.
But I know since they raised the minimum wage there, especially for fast food workers like McDonald's, they laid off a lot of McDonald's workers and made it autonomous.
Yes, and that's the other thing where we talk about jobs and how things could level. Well, there's places like that, and yeah, they have the kiosks now. Not everywhere. It's not standing everywhere, but it could get there, right?
Mm.
And that's with factories too. I mean, you talk about tech with coding, and then eventually Peter takes over. Same thing with machines. They build machines to take place of a fleet of people, of an assembly line.
Yeah, like I'm not sure if you go out to the store often, but like I'm convinced technology, like obviously technology is always a benefit, but I'm against technology for the sake of just improving versus technology for the sake of use. Because one thing that's happening, especially here, there's a Walgreens nearby. They have these, doors, to open up and get whatever you want, like water bottles, chips, whatever. The doors aren't see-through; they're digital doors, so you can't see what's behind them, and the thing that's in front of them is usually wrong. So it's like, why did you buy these digital doors? You could have used that money for something else when you had see-through doors that do a better job because you actually know what's in stock and what's not.
Well, the reason why it's not correct is that that's now an operator.
No, but I'm saying like, there's things that companies are doing that don't make sense, and they're wasting all this money compared to actually paying their employees better or improving conditions. Like, who needs a digital door that doesn't tell you the right product? Like, when a see-through door is much cheaper and gives you an accurate look at what's behind that door, if there's water in stock, or if there's milk in stock, or if there's pop in stock, but yet you have a digital door that gives you artificial count that's not even true.
Gotcha. I'm following you. Yeah, you're right. I got no argument against that.
Because like, who thought of a digital door display for a see-through glass?
Because they seen it in Japan and thought it was cool, so we had to bring it to them.
It's like, this is the point of technology where it's like, we need it, but we don't need it like that.
Well, that's to your point. That's definitely not a need. That is explicitly cosmetic and looks cool, but still wrong because unfortunately your staff didn't put it in the appropriate place.
Yeah, or it just didn't get updated. But it's just silly things. Yeah, it's just things like that are interesting. That as much as these robots are cool and it definitely makes consumption a lot easier and quicker, I think we need to dial back on the robots and put people back into them, because we have 8 billion people on the planet now, and they all need jobs.
That's all. That is all situational, of course.
Yeah, I just feel like when people raise, like, obviously, like you said, businesses think about the bottom dollar. What gives them more money? A robot will give them more money because they don't have to give them paid time off. They don't have to give them medical, and they just pay one sum and they just keep going. And usually all they need is just a couple engineers to keep servicing them, compared to having a whole assembly line of people working.
Well, even that narrative may change because their machine breaks down and they have people that could fix it. They might not get the parts they could get to fix it anymore. So.
Yeah, with these chips. So it's funny how one job sector isn't just isolated; they all affect each other.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like a domino effect, and I think that's why this redistribution of workforce is almost needed at this point because of what's going on.
Yeah.
What's gonna be interesting in the future?
Yep. It'd be nice to monitor.
But hopefully we are still good with technology, because I still want to continue this podcast, and I still like playing video games. So hopefully it doesn't end us all. But moving on to better news that's still continuing technology, but data for coding, is the Game Awards. So the Game Awards comes out December 8th, I believe. That's the date. I could be wrong about that. I know it comes out in December. I think it's December 8th or 18th. They already announced their nominees for Game of the Year. I'm not... What's up?
I didn't see them. You want to share?
Oh, yeah. So they announced their nominees for the Game of the Year. It's Stray, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, A Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, Horizon Forbidden West, and God of War Ragnarok. I can already tell you... What's up?
Stray?
Yes, it was really popular. I like Stray.
I know it was. I still haven't played. I'm probably still gonna buy that one. Although that one I could play in a day, right? So,
Oh, you could beat it in
um,
4 hours easy.
yeah, exactly. So, what do you know? Like, what are the uh, parameters, or what are the like? How do they come to the conclusion that it's going to be a nominee? Like, I know it's popular as shit.
It's
I don't
voted
I don't
on.
know. It's okay. It's voted. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I can already tell you with T4 these six candidates. I can tell you with 100% certainty that's going to be Elden Ring. That's game of the year. Because as much as Stray, Xenoblade Chronicles, I liked A Plague Tale Requiem because of story. Horizon Forbidden West and God of War Ragnarok are good stories. They don't compare popularity wise or the amount of accomplishments that Elden Ring did. Like, if you look at the second most popular game, which is currently God of War Ragnarok, that's the most popular game. The numbers aren't even close to each other. How popular Elden Ring was compared over God of War. Like, people are still playing Elden Ring in mass. This is what 7 months later since it came out, and the amount of clips it produces and content. It's just Elden Ring is almost. It's like there's almost no competition. It's like they listed these things as just like honorable mentions, while you already know that Elden Ring is gonna win Game of the Year.
That's the one that's supposedly really hard, right?
Yeah, it's the one that was by
Okay.
George R. R. Martin, and it he paired with From Software games that made like the Dark Souls series, Bloodborne, and all that stuff.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So like, yeah. I mean, I do know and recall that was super popular. I mean, that's the runaway. That's the runaway. Because I know when I didn't know what the nominees were, and when you first proposed the topic, I think I was trying to. I didn't know if there were going to be nominees, so I thought maybe we are going to talk about like who should be nominated.
Oh well, I want to talk about that too, like your
Oh, okay,
personal
okay.
like choices of
I
who you
mean,
would want to see compared to popular choice.
like, yeah, I really don't know. Like, I mean, it's shocking to me that Stray's on there, but I know it like, it makes sense because it probably was really, really popular.
I too was shocked that Stray was on there. Like I liked it, but I didn't think it was as acclaimed as as they nominated it to be. I was like, oh, that's on the list. That's interesting. Like I expected Xenoblade to be on there. I expected Horizon and God of War, but I'm like Stray, A Plague
I
Tale.
expected God of War. I know. I mean, Horizon came free with the PS5. I probably won't play it,
If you
but
well, you
I've
know
heard.
who somebody would.
Well, if you want, yeah, sure, you can take it. But I have heard really good things about not only that game but the series in a whole, as a whole. So, and it did look beautiful. Like it does look beautiful. I probably should experience it. But the one you said you played, Playtale, never really put eyes on.
So Plague Tale for
Uh,
me, like it's just like Stray. Like Stray and Plague Tale aren't really gameplay oriented. Like they're more story driven. And it's funny that like if you look at these games, the only ones that are truly gameplay driven are Xenoblade and Elden Ring. Obviously, God of War. I mean, all of them have gameplay in it, but the ones that are driven on just the player playing and compared to the story are just Xenoblade and Elden Ring.
oh yeah, and then Xenoblade I've never played, but it also does look very, very fascinating. Um, yeah, I mean, to your point, like I can't see how Elden Ring does not win it. I think if anyone does take it, if there was a second place, probably gonna be God of War.
That's what I'm
But like,
thinking
I'm
too.
actually surprised. I'm actually surprised that it made it because like, what was the cutoff? Like, I thought like most awards and award shows, like there's
There is a
a
cutoff
date,
day, and I think it made it like a week before
like
cutoff.
a week before. Wow. Okay. But even with that short window, like I'm pretty sure that would probably be second place.
Hmm.
Um, then probably third would probably be Xenoblade, I would think. You want me to finish the rankings?
I mean, if you want to, because I'm 100%
uh,
agree with you. I think Elden Ring's gonna be
yeah.
first, God of War second.
And then ooh, now it does get a little tricky.
I would say Horizon would be
Probably play.
fourth.
You said I was gonna go with Playtale and then Horizon and then Stray.
I mean, it could
But
be a
it, but
toss up
it, but it
between a
does
Plague
get it
Tale.
does get it does get really tied there. Now outside of those games, now that we went through the whole rankings, what else could be thrown in there?
So obviously there's a bunch of games that came out, and I've been playing catch up. I haven't played a lot of new games, but some games I would like to put in there if I was to make my own game of the year. I would put The Quarry because I really like the story of The Quarry. I didn't play it. I've watched it, but The Quarry is the kind of game where you don't really need to play it. It's more like a watched game. A Plague Tale I definitely put up there because it has a fantastic story if you're into that. The gameplay was it was okay. Stray I would put up there as well only because how do I say this? Even though Stray didn't do anything truly impressive, it was a unique experience. And I think that's why I put up there as well because it gave you a different gameplay perspective compared to your normal like puzzle, jumper, shooter, whatever. And I think that's what I liked. It was more of an exploration game that wasn't 100% on story. It was just you looking around as a cat and did some slight puzzle aspects around it. I thought it was very intriguing. Who else would I put up there? I know Pokemon doesn't really get Game of the Year, but I think because of how interesting Legends of Arceus was, I'll put that up there as well.
Did it fit within the time frame?
It did.
Hmm.
Because it came out this year, right? It came out before January 1st?
Before January 1st?
Or did it come out after?
No. I think it came out after. Of this year.
Yeah, if it came out this year, it's eligible. If it came out before January 1st, it wouldn't be eligible.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think it did. I want to say it was like that March, no?
For some reason, I'm remembering like it was like January 21st or February or something. I could be wrong. I have to look up the date. But I know that I believe Legends of Arceus was eligible for this and didn't get nominated at all or even close to it. And I don't know why because compared to maybe because it's Pokemon's so well known, they don't expect much from it. But when you look at it from a gameplay perspective, it really changed the game for Pokemon.
Oh, for sure.
And
no,
it was also I think the second most pre-ordered Pokemon game, or maybe third.
That I don't know. I know every now and then I will glance at the updated like sales rankings, and the original two are still number one sold all time. Sword and Shield are actually number two.
And Pokemon Scarlet and Violet took number one.
Oh, for pre-orders?
Yep.
Oh wow!
Because of Legends of Arceus, people were so hyped because of Legends that Scarlet and Violet skyrocketed because of the open world aspect.
Gotcha. I would co-sign that one. Not saying just because I played it. But,
January 28th is when it came out this year.
January 28th. Okay. So yeah, that one is a little surprising, I would think. Okay, so look at it this way, since they had their 6, is 6 always the max?
I think so.
Okay.
Oh, and oh man, maybe I might want to take out Plague Tale. I think I would put Triangle Strategy up there. I didn't play it, but from all the friends that have played it, they told me how great of a game it was, story-wise.
I don't think the popularity was there though.
Well, we're talking about personal preference here. We're not talking about like if.
Oh, okay. I thought you're coming up with real, like, I want to take this one out. This one should be. I thought that's where we're going for here. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's my own personal list of what Game of the Year would be. I think Triangle Strategy would be up there because of the uniqueness of the story. It basically improving on the normal JRPG strategy based game, and it from what I was told, it pretty much is like the new gold standard. Like I think the second best was like Live, but I think that's a remake.
I want to play that one too.
But is that a remake or is that a new game?
It's new to us here in the Western world.
Okay.
But as far as gold standard is concerned, if we could go back to that, I'm not against it. I like the reason why I gravitate to that and Octopath so much is because for me, nostalgically, it brings me back to growing up and playing that RPG. And not to mention they're just also just still so good. But like I just love that for RPGs. And for it to be the gold standard moving forward, and if it stays that way, I think that's fantastic because like you look at like the new Final Fantasy projects, I don't think they're going to go back to that. Now these are still being some of these are still being done by Square Enix or whatever, so that's fine. But like as far as Final Fantasy as an IP, I don't think it's ever going to go back to that. Like the new standard for them now are these 7 type games and 16, which I think isn't that like the most hyped category for the Game Awards too? Is there such thing as that? I think there is.
I think it might be anticipated. I don't know. I actually can't remember the categories.
Most anticipated game because I think Final Fantasy 16 is on that list.
Yeah.
I thought I saw that somewhere.
No, people are definitely looking forward to that game a lot.
But yes, Triangle Strategy is, I still haven't finished it, but I adore it. That style, it just does it for me.
So while you were talking, I was I was saying personal preference, but I think the reason why some of these games that we just named aren't up there is because I think I'm pretty almost 100% positive that the Game Awards only goes by Western preferences and Western market. I don't think it counts global.
Yeah, that sounds like it's accurate if you really look at that list. But I think Astro had, that's probably what sets it off, right? Because it had more of
a Japanese following or Asian following. Because I know Legends of Arceus, even though it was popular in America, it was even more popular in the Asian markets. Obviously, because Asian, like the Japanese market owns it, but the Asian market is just overpopular with Pokemon stuff.
Mm-hmm. And there's same to be said with that with your Triangle Strategy. It kind of follows suit with that assessment.
Yeah, because the literal category is JRPG, Japanese role playing game.
Dare I say this, and I don't mean to say it in a derogatory way, but I don't like that term. Like, it's a fucking RPG. Like, just don't put the J in front of it.
I agree with you because RPGs are RPGs. I think the only reason why they put J is because they have anime-esque characters, and I think that's why they put the J there. And also, I say anime as like Western doesn't have animation because anime is animation. That's all it is. But like, I would say Japanese character palettes that they're accustomed to.
But I believe that like the OG Final Fantasies for like Super Nintendo, like number 2 and 3 here on our side of the world, I think I never called them J. Well, actually, back then I would never know to call anything a JRPG. But I think they're categorized as such, and I'm like, using your philosophy with anime, I don't see nothing anime about those games at all.
What the heck is going on here?
Uh-oh, what happened?
I hear you, but like everything froze. That was very disturbing. Hold on.
Is your stream still live?
Yeah, I'm closing stuff right now and seeing if maybe it was processing too long.
Oh, okay.
All right,
Did you move the frame rates or anything?
I think we're good now. No, I think it's just that my computer has a lot of storage on it, and sometimes when things happen, frame drops. But we're good now. Everything's stable.
Okay.
Cool. But now that you mention it, because like there's other Japanese games like Siren, Silent Hill. Mm-hmm. Technically, is Resident Evil a Japanese game?
I wouldn't think so. Like, so see, that's an interesting thing, right? Because Capcom is a Japanese company, but like, wouldn't you agree that's more catered to probably Americans? Maybe, I don't know.
I want to say yes because it's based off America, just like Silent Hill, but they're a Japanese studio that makes Japanese games. So it's like they don't call them J horror games; they just call them horror games. So I'm adding to your point.
No, I know. I'm kind of like, thank you. So yeah, I mean that's like I kind of went off the rails with that, but like, I just don't like the term. It's like they're all RPGs. Come on, stop. But continue with your list. What else did you have?
Honestly, it was just that I would keep Plague Tale up there because like the story was really good. Elden Ring, even in my personal list, even though I didn't play Elden Ring, I would still, in my personal list, Elden Ring would still be game of the year only because it's not just popular in the Western; it's popular all around the world. Like that's how massive this game was. So it's
Mm-hmm,
like,
mm-hmm.
as much as there's a bunch of good games this year, Elden Ring was just one of those things that it's like a once in a generation type game. You probably won't see another game like this for a while because of how long it took to build a story, build a world, build a game.
And
And
that's all an offline, right?
uh, well, there is co-op there, but
Oh, okay.
most people usually play as a single player game. I think
Gotcha.
it's like 2 to 3 player co-op, and you can invade other people's worlds and kill them. But it's not like
Oh,
true multiplayer, like Call of Duty or whatever, World of Warcraft.
gotcha. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Which is fine. I mean, I adored like Monster Hunter, but just had no one to play with.
Yeah, but
So,
what did you say your list?
well, yeah, well, no, because I I don't play as many games. But
I mean, I didn't play Elden Ring or Triangle Strategy. I just go off of what I've seen and told, so you don't necessarily have to play them to put them on your list.
yeah, no, no, and then like as you were going through, like I was really trying to think of things, and co-sign with the Arceus thing because it follows line, and um, despite the narrative of not being or having not enough influence here and more in Japan or whatever, like I really feel like that one did fall short. Like, but like what I was going to propose to you is taking the actual list of nominations. If you were to plug in an Arceus, like let's just put that one like as it was the top one missed. Which of those nominations would you have taken out to put Arceus?
Hmm, that's gonna be a hard choice. I I want to say God of War, or not the God of War. It would either between God of War and Horizon Forbidden West, because like gameplay wise, they're pretty much identical.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah,
it's just story differences because PlayStation runs with the same template. They just changed the story.
exactly.
So I would probably
Um,
take out Horizon, and that's not discrediting Horizon because from what I've seen and heard, it's pretty good as well.
mhm.
But I'll take Horizon out and put Arceus there. What about you? Who would you take out?
Um, that was a good one. I think you nailed it. I think it probably if I were to pick another one, it'd probably be Stray. I know it's popular as shit. I do know that, but like, so going back and rewind for a second, like Arceus just really was popular here though. Like I it really do now that we talk about it more, I feel like they dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah.
I really do because it was very popular
But I also, well,
here.
maybe,
And
well, if that's what I'm, because I was gonna say, like with movies, there's certain movies that cannot be like counted as Best Picture, like Marvels or and Star Wars are permanently excluded from that category. I wonder because Pokemon is so massive. I wonder if it's excluded from the Game of the Year category because of popularity wise, it probably always won.
yeah, that would suck, but it makes you wonder. Because, like, to that point, like, how does. Is something then like Fortnite then automatically excluded? Because, like, they don't come up with Fortnite 2, they just.
Well,
It's like a new major patch, right? Or something
yeah,
of that magnitude?
Fortnite's original release could be a contender, but Fortnite's updates
Yeah,
would not be contenders. Like for example,
okay,
Overwatch, for example.
okay.
Overwatch in 2016 won Game of the Year because that's when it came out. It was extremely popular, and it was also
Hmm.
unheard of for a multiplayer to win Game of the Year. Usually single player games.
Hmm.
But because it came out in 2016, even though the game was still being supported multiple years later, it was not able to be a candidate in the other years following because it only came out that one year.
No, I mean, to me, that makes all the sense in the world, but I guess, like,
But
it
Overwatch 2
kind
could
of.
be a candidate though.
No, exactly. So I could see that one being canon, but like I've never played Fortnite, probably never will. But its popularity obviously is damn near unrivaled. So like, but they're kind of victim to their own success because they don't come up with a 2 or 3 or 4. So it's just major patches. Um, like now that I think about it, like I don't know if World of Warcraft gets that same treatment because they're expansions. I don't know, but yeah. So that point, it kind of sucks that like they don't get an opportunity again, even though they're pushing out really big
Basically new
popular
games.
content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like
So
Destiny, for example, when it came out in 2014, I believe it was a nominee for Game of the Year. But then it was never on the list again until 2016 or 17 when Destiny 2 came out.
Yeah. So that's really interesting.
But they can't be for Game of the Year, but they can be for Best Multiplayer of the Year. Because World of Warcraft, every year has been on top for one of the best multiplayer games. Just like Destiny, almost every single year has been on for the best multiplayer game.
Gotcha.
Does it win? No, but it's always as a nominee.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it'd be unfair to always have World of Warcraft or Destiny be multiplayer of the year.
Well, I'm pretty sure FF14 probably took the ball a couple years recently. Maybe, I don't know. But
I know it took it last year though. Or no, was it last year? I can't remember what multiplayer game took it.
I recall not really watching it last year.
I know
I'm not a big fan of the host / creator of
Jeff Keighley. See, I like him professionally because he knows how to orchestrate things. But you are right, like his personality is very dull.
Not only that, but like
he also has
I can't define the words.
He also has huge favoritism for certain people.
Yes, and I can't stand that.
But in a way, it makes sense. Like for example, he is a massive fan and a friend of Hideo Kojima. But the reason why he also name shouts him so much is because Hideo Kojima is also a financial supporter for the Game Awards. So there's also a legal obligation to say his name.
Yeah, but
I agree. It is annoying to hear it all the time, but that's the reason why he always name drops him.
And the other guy is that one that won the Game of the Year, was it last year or 2 years ago, for that game that you like? Was it Takes Two or whatever?
Oh, the French dude, the curses.
Yeah, like he's always on his nutsack, man. Like
yes,
it's just like.
And it's funny because he wasn't going to get invited again, but because the second game he made became so popular, he was forced to invite him back. And he even said, "Don't curse," and the guy was like, "I'm going to curse."
Yeah, it's. But like, remember before this version of Game Awards existed, wasn't there one before? I don't know if you remember.
Well, yes. So, I'm not sure. Back when it was on cable television, it was on Spike TV. It was with G4 TV and and Game Awards. And back then, he was more open because a network was, doing it. He didn't have control, and they were more free back then because they didn't have as much viewers. But because of the video game industry becoming extremely political with, huge corporations like Microsoft, PlayStation, they always censor it. And I think that's why Jeff is more hands tied compared to how he used to be with those Game Awards. Because the Game Awards didn't come back until 2014. That's when they became mainstream like they are now. Every year, people look forward to them. But because of those huge corporations taking place as a financial backer, I think that's why Jeff is more censored compared to how he used to be back in the day. Because he used to have, what's her name? Olivia Munn, Jeff, or something. What's her name? Morgan. And they used to go crazy. They used to do weird things on the Game Awards and make it fun. But I think because of that corporation backing, they're very PG now.
Yeah. I mean, and then, like, the other thing that sucks is, like, I can't, like, when they first started back then, like, I still enjoy it. I'm still glad that it exists. But, like, to me, it just doesn't have as much, credence to it because of, that political aspect of it. It's like, like, is it cool that there's still awards? Yeah, but, like, is it that meaningful when it's kind of fixed?
So I think this is where I'm not gonna defend him because obviously I don't know him, but I want to say that Jeff still has that passion and care, even though political ties. I think that's why he focuses so heavy on presentation and the musical aspect because let's be honest, music plays a huge part of games, and he understands that. And that's why, even though to some people might not make any sense, he always wants to get a good orchestra to play the games because he knows that's a memorable part for the player's experience. And I think that's his way to make it lively for us gamers to watch.
No,
and I respect that.
Yeah, no, I could concur with that. Like, those are good feel-good moments. I mean, I don't know if you've ever been to full orchestra.
I have. I went to the well, not for the video game. I would love to go to the Game Awards, but I think that's only by invite. But I have been to the Trans-Siberian Orchestra for the Christmas stuff, and it's awesome.
No, full orchestra concerts are fucking amazing. Like I've been to two. Both of them were for Final Fantasy. Um, no, actually, I take it back. One was Final. No, I've been to three. Two Final Fantasy, and one was like a lot of different video games.
I never been to. I
And
would love to go to one of those, but I've only been to like the classical stuff, and the
well,
percussion feel is awesome.
next time there's one, I'll let you know because I would love to go to another one as well. Yeah, they're just like, especially when you, to your point, like, and if you're defending him, if he is thinking that way, that connection that sound and music have with the video game and the player, and then when you go back and you feel that sound, and then it just obviously triggers that emotion that's associated with the game. um yeah, it's awesome. It's a great feeling.
Yeah, but and I know we got to wrap this up soon because of your time frame.
Oh, you never say that on air.
Well, no, we have things to do.
Yeah, well,
But
unfortunately, I have to work tomorrow. I
but
did volunteer, but
so I think it's almost a concrete thing that Elden Ring is going to win. But if Elden Ring does not win, who would be the biggest shocker as to take Game of the Year?
straight.
Stray?
But I think it would be a feel good moment. But like,
Let the little cat win instead of the underdog
well,
undercat?
yeah, they just like is. I think the real cat's still alive, right? Probably like throw it up there to go get the trophy or something. Yeah, I think I dare I say. I mean, it would still be surprising, but it would be a little comical because I mean that game did do huge. I mean, so many. I'll forget so many people on their PC. You know, reskin the cat to look like their cat. I think some people did it with dogs, even. Like,
Oh, I haven't seen that. I
really,
need to see that.
yeah. I mean, I thought that's really cool, and I think that also just once again triggers a whole new connection with the player in that game. That it's like, oh, there's my cat in the game, and I'm now in the perception of my cat. Like, I think that's awesome.
That would be cool. Yeah, because I was gonna say the same thing. Obviously, I also want to say Plague Tale, but Stray would be like the complete undercat here in this scenario, because and anybody would be like, oh, God of War is easily second. But I
Yeah,
didn't want to go the classical route. I wanted to go
yeah.
what would surprise me, because I would be shocked if Stray won. I would
I
be
think
like,
that's cool.
I'd be like watching him, like, did they just say Stray? I think he said Stray.
That would be cool. I now I kind of hope that moment happens. We know it won't, but that'd be cool.
But I'd love to hear everybody else's thoughts on this. I really do want to hear what people are thinking, because I think Elden Ring is just a shoe-in. Like, there's no contest at all there. But I want to hear other people's Game of the Year predictions as well. You can follow the Real Shiesty and I on Twitter or on Twitch, and let us hear your opinions. Or if you're on Spotify, I think I have polls now that you can vote on. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. This is episode 12 of the Out of Mana podcast. We don't know when the next episode will be, but most likely it'll be after Thanksgiving. So for all those who are watching, happy Thanksgiving or happy holidays, whatever you celebrate. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Peace.